Hello, and Stu is already laughing. Hello and welcome to episode 26 of the Geno52 podcast, and I have just surprised you with my new addition.
That's a nice hat.
As my wife said, she went, "That's brilliant, but fucking appalling." And for anybody who doesn't know, I am now currently wearing a bright red baseball cap that says "Make Heresy Great Again."
I think you best take a photo of this. So, who gave you that?
That has come. I have bought that myself because I'm so funny about this thing. We got a nice snapback. For those of you who have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, coming up in our Tarssis coverage later.
You left the sticker on to be cool.
Apparently, I'm supposed to leave the snapback sticker on there because otherwise it doesn't make money. But I don't know. It makes me more gimpy. You will hear the story of Talard Strump from our Tarssis coverage. But yeah, if you've been watching on the Geno52 Facebook pages, you've seen many memes with my face on Donald Trump's face. Because apparently I kind of get what it is, and I really hope Windless meant it in this way, that I'm a loud, boisterous comedy character rather than a racist and a moron.
I think it was more to do with the kind of the confidence in yourself, and that everyone else was having a great time because you told them we're having a great time.
3 great games at Tarssis. You have had 3 great times. This is the bigliest heresy event in the UK.
Yeah, I don't think it's got anything to do with your politics.
No, it's just got to do with the fact that
about you probably have a similar level of ability at politics, but yeah,
it's definitely a similar level of ego.
Lots of hot air, but.
So hello and welcome to episode 26 of the Geno52 podcast. I am Tom.
You are.
I am.
Or are you?
I don't. You know what? The week I fucking had, I don't know. I don't know why. Do you know what? After Tarssis, I had like a 3-day days of just like, I don't really know what's happening. Do you know how much my bar bill came to at Tarssis? £10.
Oh, that's
all
less
I
than mine.
Yeah. I got shit-faced.
Mine was only 15 quid.
I know, but people just kept putting bloody drinks in my hand. So, yeah, that was a bit of a wild day. So, yeah, I'm Tom, and I'm sat across the way from my lovely Stuart.
My lovely Stuart.
So we are sat in the moth dungeon. I'm still under tinfoil.
You are. Last time.
Yeah, I think you said that 3 shows in a row now, haven't you?
I said maybe, but this should be it.
This should be. Well, if it
I thought we were going to exchange contracts today, but
thing is, we were saying if it isn't,
it
will be here for a
if
for
we're
a while.
here next month, then it's all fallen through.
Yeah, and then we're you may start throwing things.
Yeah. Considering why I've had to give up for the for the move, which we'll come on to later. Probably. Yeah. So yeah, I should probably be moving. I might even be moving this time next week. It's that close.
It'd be nice to get it done.
Yes.
If you can get done next week, it'd be good.
Yeah,
be good. Yeah. So we are here. So, you know, this is a really shit intro. Yeah. We've been talking for an hour and a half. We've been doing event admin and wrap up. So kind of
planning the next one, and
so it kind of feels a bit weird starting again, isn't it?
One. So yeah, it does a little bit. But
anyway, so what have we got coming up on the show? So we are going to what did you put it? Because I really like the way you described this section. Our main section today is going to be Tarssis Refections.
Yeah, so I didn't want to call review because we're not reviewing our own.
No, we're going to go through the event that we ran a couple of weeks ago. We're going to just bullshit our way for a little bit about it. It was a very busy day that day. We had 68 Heresy enthusiasts playing in a pub. It was as busy and hectic as you can imagine. I dropped a boo-boo with the timings a little bit. We could have done with a little bit longer time rounds and stuff. So it was a bit of a rush day to get it done. But it was generally a good day. But we're going to go into that more later, and we'll go through that and stuff. So it was a very busy day. And what I meant to say is we didn't get much of a chance to record anything. We did record for about 15, 20 minutes, but I was sort of half my mind on other things. We were concentrating on other things.
We didn't really plan to. We took the stuff there just in case we wanted to, and then we had a spare 20 minutes. We thought we'd record, but it's not going to be in the show because
it was just kind of me sitting there going, I don't really know what's going on. I'm yelling at people. I'm drinking Amasec. Let's go. So yeah, we're going to run through that, and what are we going to do after that? We have got our bad
English, bad.
Go home and eat a spoon. Fucking terrible. I'm drinking session ale as well, and it's going to be a bad night in there. I'm struggling already. Bullshit and bad hobby advice section. We are going to talk about unifying a force over time, and this actually comes from a message we got. So when we get to that, we'll chat about that.
Cover in a bit more detail.
So what do you do, as you're painting a force and your techniques are getting better, and we've all got those models that we painted at the start of a force, and the models at the end are much better. My Ultramarines are the prime candidate for that. The first inventory is very basic. Towards the end, the last few models, the painting stuff's gone. And how'd you manage that over the time of a project? So, cool. Shall we go into our general, what is Emily titled, General Ramble?
I think we've been generally rambling. Well, I say we. I barely said anything. You've been generally rambling.
Yeah, so I'm going to move the microphone away, Stu. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Quite a lot, actually. I've been busy. Very busy. I've actually done some hobby that isn't work.
Surprised me when I turned up.
Yeah, I've been... I don't know if I said what my next army was on the last show. Probably hinted at. I think most people would have guessed with the termite rant that I wasn't going to do any of the armies I've been talking about.
It wasn't going to be a Blood Angels force.
Not Blood Angels, not Sons of Horus, not Black Shields, which I'd planned as well. The Dawn model, funnily enough, drove me back towards the Fists, but not. But I'm not going to run him. He's not in any army list. It was more a kind of reminded me that my original kind of love for in Heresy was with the Imperial Fist. So and then the Termite model. I just love the idea of breaches running out of the things, which you may or may not have got a hint of that with my moaning about the Deep Strike rule and Stone Gauntlet. But I've built most of my 2.5 list, the first 2.5 list that I've planned. It's more of a list based around collecting than actually running. But so I've built 24 breaches and some vets. Got the first vets I've ever built. They are Weapon Master vets though. They're not the proper proper.
No more sniper vets.
No outflanking snipers. So I've built a unit of those. I've got 5 Terminators. It's got a bit of a theme. So there's a double theme going on with the force. It's first one is going to be they're going to be grey with yellow rather than yellow.
Black and yellow.
Yeah, so there's a colour plate in book 3, which is a Crusade armour, and there's a guy that's wearing all grey and he's got one yellow arm. Effectively, I'm going to just do a yellow pad rather than and then maybe a yellow stripe on the helmets rather than a whole yellow arm. So I really like that for a long time, so I'm going to do that. And then there's a couple of other influences. One is there's a guy called Nefarious Squirrel on Instagram. I can't remember his real name now. I'm not going to search it. He did some grey Imperial Fist tanks and things that looked incredible. So I remembered those and went and had a look at those for a bit of inspiration. And the third part is a bit fluff based that kind of builds into the colour scheme as well. So my force is going to be based around guys that have served under Fafnir Ran. Now Fafnir Ran's in Praetorian Dawn. He pops up in Templar a bit as well. Very, very small kind of snippets of him. But he's a seneschal and he leads this assault cadre. But he fights with twin axes basically. So they're almost like world eaters not on drugs and not in crazy and mads, but they're still pretty still pretty brutal. So if you look at the Imperial Fist transfer sheet, you'll see the double axe symbol on there quite a lot, and it's got dual use. It signifies units that fought in Zone Mortalis, but also people that are served under Seneschal Ram. So I didn't want to actually make him in the force. I wanted to give myself the narrative freedom to come up with my own characters. But the idea is that they've served under him, but they're off. They were lost at the beginning of the. By the time the Heresy broke out, they were lost somewhere. They've been away as a delegatus. Have been away on a mission, and they do rapid assault but mechanized, so they're all jumping out of tanks, jumping out of termites and things, so breaches piling out of those, but they've nearly all got an axe in their hand apart from the breaches who can't take them. The rest have all got power axes, so that's my sort of theme in the force.
The way you described it to me was it's kind of like when Iran's lieutenants or sergeants has now raised up to lead a small force, and he's served under him, so it's not Ran's force, but that's exactly it. They fight the way Ran has taught him to fight,
and he builds his way up. So when he went away, he was a delegatus. I think the narrative will be that he makes his way to Praetor. So it is little things like that. I'm running a herald in the list, so he'll have to make his way to Praetor, because if I ever do run Stone Gauntlet, you can only have one console, which is a bit of a problem because I would prefer to run a delegatus. But that's a real theme to it. They're all going to have axes, as I said. I've put chains on a few of them. Now that brings into the final part. So Fafnir Ran was the chapter master of the I've had a mind blank. Where's he gone?
Not the excoriators.
Executioners.
That's it.
So that's in the Badab War books. You can find them, and they all wear sort of grey stroke gunmetal with yellow pads and stuff. So this grey again works in with those. So the idea is that these guys will eventually be back under his command after the Heresy, and will form that chapter. So there's all the early signs of his fighting style, that raw kind of attacking stuff. So if you read the fluff of the Executioners, they are almost world eaters.
Slightly more under control.
Yeah, so these guys aren't world eaters, don't get me wrong, but the idea is they are very much assault based, and so it's fists but with a real theme. I really wanted to build a theme to it. So there's no super heavies in the list, there's no Primarchs or anything like that. I really wanted to build a list around a narrative, and I'm far more excited about it than I have been some of the things in the past.
The big thing for me is we've talked about your armies, the other projects, and you've liked the list, but you haven't started them.
I've just not had time to. Now I've started. That's it.
You still haven't got time to do these. You haven't, because you're packing up and moving and still got piles of commissions. You've found time to do these.
Yeah, I've done a lot more.
And that's because you want to do more. Because I remember when you did your fists last time, when we first started, you were sat in front of the telly doing.
I did them in 6 weeks.
Yeah, but you wanted to do them.
Yeah.
While you've enjoyed the lists and we've been playing with lots of really cool ideas, that final step to actually go, well, I will make the time to build and paint
I've been really excited, and now I really want to do more. So we're looking at them now. The only things I haven't built, apart from the 2 termites, which I can't build until the Forgeworld release them.
Come on, Will, get them out.
I can't afford them now anyway, so don't.
I don't care about you. I want them.
I've got my Death Guard client wants some painted as well, so I kind of want them to come out.
You might well be painting a whole bloody load of them.
I've got 3 javelins left to build, and I'm half built them.
I'm very jealous of your javelins.
Everything else is again fast moving attack sort of stuff. It's a bit different, but everything else is built and pre-shaded as well, and I've even got yellow down on the pads and some of the doors and things, so I'm ready to put some metal down on the metals. The bases are half prepped, so it could all come together quite quickly. I won't be doing any more painting on them now until I've moved, though.
Well,
assuming I'm moving in the next fortnight, which I should be. I'll get the javelins built and primed and pre-shaded, but that'll be it. But I've made a massive start. I didn't want to take it all in boxes. I've actually, this is actually packed away smaller than the amount of bloody white Forgeworld boxes and things I had. So
you had a shitload on it the last time I came round.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Personal hobby. I've done a bit of work. Most of it not Heresy. I think I've got some Iron Warriors on the desk at the moment. But what else have I done? I've cancelled 2 events. Signed up for another one. So supposed to be going to Company Legends with you and now Sam on the sort of 2 weekends time. It's because of the house move that we thought we'd have moved a long time ago and completed a long time. It's more likely to be the weekend that we're supposed to be away. So there was no way I was going to get to go away for 3 days, which is effectively is when you're driving to Durham. For 3 days in the week I move house. And if we moved the weekend before, the wife would have to move the time off that she's taking to move house the week before. So it would basically became impossible. So I wanted to give Michael as much notice as possible to get someone to take a ticket rather than hold on and hope. Now, if the house move falls through and we don't move, I will be gutted because
you'll be sitting at home sulking while I'm
saying not only will I be gutted because I missed out on the house, I'll also be gutted because I'm not going to play Toy Soldiers. But the reality is that I probably had about 10% chance of going because it shouldn't fall down at this point.
You also know the frustrations that me and you have with Tarsis when we're sitting there. Fucking, is he
going
to come or not? And you have to balance. It's a real pain in the ass as an event organizer to lose people on the day. So especially when people break down on the M25 that morning and you don't know when the fuck they're going to turn up. Do you, Jack?
So I messaged him and said, look, this is the way it is. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, look, if you've got someone, let them take the ticket. And Pete Rees is going.
Pete's going.
So
I'll go message him back. He messaged me about a list and I told him he was a whacker, so I better message him back.
Well, looking at those lists, if he'd be taking his Thousand Sons as well. I think there's already about 3 Magnuses running around, isn't there?
The comment I made, I don't think he took the right way because he's talking about bringing his Guard of the Crimson King with Ahriman and Sekhmet and his Thunderhawk. So no. And the comment I made was it won't be out of place up there.
No.
It wasn't meant as you're a whacker, is it? It was more meant in the lists are at that kind of level. I think I'm going to get my dick ripped off.
I was a little bit surprised, but I didn't look at the lists from last year.
Yeah. I just sent the list I was
going to send anyway,
regardless. So.
It's not a complaint of the list, but I was a little bit taken aback by how many lists that had a super heavy and then allied knights. So there's effectively 3 Lord of Wars, that kind of stuff.
A Typhon and 2 allied knights. Do you not want to play that?
So it just surprised me, and I think it's just because of the games and my focus recently being ultra narrative, not taking Lord of Wars, and that's not. There's many ways to play the game, and I was just it was the mindset I looked at, and when I saw the list, I thought, oh, okay,
there's tough lists on both sides. That's the comment I made was, oof, and it's not. So I've discussed this again with more and more people about judging the list for an event.
Yeah.
I may have misjudged the type of list for my event. Now, actually, what I've learned from some of my adventures is my mechanic list does pretty well, actually. It's not that bad.
But yeah, it's just difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing, actually, me judging other people's lists against mine, which is an army that I've played a 1250 version, a 1500 point version of it, couple of times, and it's never gone out in the field altogether. I've actually got no idea how my list is going to work in that field. It's going to be more of a case of me not knowing what my army does.
Yeah.
But
so that was the one thing. So I had to cancel the Legion of Lies event. So they got messed around by their venue. I think they had some issues.
40k gaming, weren't they?
I don't know the full details. So I don't want to name. I don't want to call out.
Oh yeah, no, I'm calling them out. Just saying that was the venue.
There was some issues, shall we say, and then they had to change the venue, and they changed it to Wayland Games, which is awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And it's not much further away. It's only added 15 minutes drive to me. The problem is the reason I got the go ahead is because I've got family in Suffolk, which was about 40-minute drive from the other place.
Yeah.
And we were going to do a bit of a recce up there, see some family, see some friends, and then me go or travel in the morning to play the games.
Yeah. So making that an hour's trip.
Yes. So it's not about the morning trip so much, but it would have made it a bit more difficult. But it being moved, it means that doing that other stuff, there was no point. And then, the question was, especially with the wife involved, the question was, well, why are you going 3 hours to drive there and to drive back when we're not doing anything else over that way when there's loads of events closer to you? And
like driving 5 hours to Peterborough and back? I
kind of lost permission.
Yeah,
I could have still gone, but it was do you really? The other reason I lost permission is I'm quite lucky and unlucky at the same time that I can do whatever I want this coming Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because my wife's going away with the son camping with a friend. But because she's going away camping, well, you're busy because it's Father's Day. You must not be allowed to do anything.
Oh, fuck my family! I'm gone. I'd leave them behind.
So the problem is that means the weekend after, which would have been this event in Essex, would have. She now wants to spend some time with me because she's away. Yeah. So I can't do that event either, but I'm doing the one the weekend before, which is Father's Day, and that's the one you can't make.
That's Derby, isn't it?
Yeah, so the Volturus one, which is run by Callum and Harry.
I'm
Tabletop
gutted I can't make that.
So that looks really good as well. So I managed to get a 2-day event out of it. So I've lost 3 days of gaming, game back 2. So I'm net 1 day gaming down.
Hopefully you can swing an extra weekend away because I can throw a hobby husband's drop and say I'm not getting to go away with you this week.
I'd like to. I can get a few days free here and there. Until before
maybe we can sneak a day up in Nottingham.
August now. That's it though.
Oh, same here.
I'm all booked up now with Tarsis, with Warhammer Fest, with other holidays and stuff going on. That's it now. It's me done.
Well, I booked on Mark Maskelins, and the wife pointed out that I'm going up to the Ghoul Stars events the first weekend in May.
Yeah.
Then we go to Warhammer Fest the next weekend, and then I go to London for the Mark Maskelin Masterclass the weekend after, and that's 3 weekends, 2 of which I'm away for the whole weekend. And all 3 of them are Toy Soldiers. She went, I think that's enough for the first afternoon. And I went, yes, love, that's fine. Yes, love, that's fine. I won't do any more this year. Yeah, I think I'd be cool to try and maybe find. So we've got the October event, which is a 1-dayer. So I'd like to try and pencil. I'm probably penciling in Blood and Glory in November.
I really want to. The issue I always have is my son's birthday.
Yeah.
So everyone's heard this before. My wife works most Saturdays,
and
I am the childcare on the Saturday.
You lounge around the house painting toy soldiers and living the life of a kept man.
Oh, I wish. But that's the issue. My son can't go anywhere else. Then. And his birthday's in November, and we usually take a week off then. So she's taking a week off.
You spoil that kid by having a week off for his birthday. My daughter's lucky if she gets to see me.
She's got X amount of weeks. She has like 7 weeks a year to take off.
In,
but it just means that
7 fucking weeks a year?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Fuck me, I get 4.
Yeah, well, that's working for your family for you, isn't it?
No, it's just I make up for it by not turning up to work most of the time.
Oh yeah, you do get. You probably work 4 days a week.
No, I've had the crackdown now. I'm back to full-time hours now. The year of hobby excuses has caught up with me, but yeah, I'm back full-time. What I've realised though is all that stuff like writing event packs and all the admin stuff. Well, it's great in the office. Can't paint anything, but now I do have nearly 10,000 points of fully painted Horus Heresy now, so I don't need to paint that much.
No, you're at that stage when you're adding stuff nicely.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a swing for you, hasn't it?
That's me. So yeah, lots of hobby related. There's probably stuff I've forgotten as well, but yeah, at least I've got a event to look forward to still. But
yeah, and it'd be a good one. It'd be really good. Callum and Harry are going to do a good event. It's gonna be right up your street.
Day 2 is either small zone mortalis games that lead into a big game, but all the big game, which is a siege game. Yeah. So if I can get my Warhound painted, I'll take it for that game. So yeah, it's a good
excuse to get that done as well.
Yeah,
get that up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Wicked.
So what you've been up to loads as well?
No, I've done fuck all, haven't I?
Feels like it's Tarssis 2 weeks ago.
Fuck all I've done. I am within literal bell-end distance of finishing my Mechanicum.
You are, aren't you?
I have painted the Vorax pretty much. So the Megos Dominus is done. Everything is done now for my 3K list, bar weathering the Vorax and what I call finishing touches, things like glossing the lenses.
And fixing the one you broke.
He's fixed.
He's fixed.
You've not looked at my Instagram story tonight?
No.
I fixed him. He's posed. He's on his base now. They're all on their base. Yeah, I fucked up I over-egged the pose on it, and it meant that I couldn't get the ammo feed into his hopper because his leg was in the way.
That's posh talk for I bent him a bit too much and he snapped.
No. Because so the ball joint, he was supposed to be like really fucking straight.
Remember this is an audio.
Yeah, it's like people can see my hand gesture. He was basically doing a flying kick. Think Jean-Claude Van Damme, kind of like fucking legs up in the air, like wah! And then I realised that his leg was right where the ammo feed goes in. I was like, fuck. So I chopped the leg off him, and then the top fell off him as well at the same time. And then an arm broke off while I was doing it, and I was about to throw him in the bin and run 5 of the fuckers. But I did my usual thing of put that down, Tom. Put the saw down.
I know those.
Go downstairs and do it tomorrow.
Do you do this when you're gluing stuff together? Think, I should wait for that to dry before I glue this next bit on, but I'll do it anyway.
I can't.
And then you think, I'll do another bit, and then that bit, and you think, I just need to adjust it, and then you drop it, and then you knock the other bit, and then the other bit, and then you end up with.
Yeah. So the other thing I've been doing is rebasing my Atropos. So he's gone onto a base to match the rest of the mechanical balls.
Really nice.
But I knew it needed a bit of work to bend his foot, just to only heat the toes and bend the toes, just to get a good fix on him.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll do that. While I was waiting for washes to dry and things like that, so I get him out and get him lined up. So I got him off and had to get him off the old base. And doing that, basically the foot sits in a ball and socket joint.
Yeah.
And it came off. So that's cool because it's just the pistons are slid out.
Yeah.
So it's all right. Mixed up some 2-part epoxy, resin glue, foot back on, all lined up, no problems. Put him down. Should really give that 20 minutes. I gotta go to the shop in 20 minutes to go and get some beer and stuff. Yeah, be all right. Looking on the base, bending the foot. The fucking foot keeps falling off. I'm stripping. And each one of those things. I should have just glue it, put it down. I'll deal with it tomorrow because I'm in no rush. I've got 2 weeks till Company of Legends.
But when you're that close to, I'm the same.
It's frustrating. I've literally got to put powders on and rim the base, and it's done. I'm like, just want it done now.
That's one of the reasons I don't use epoxy that often, just because it does take that little bit longer to dry, isn't it?
But I was like, it's the ball and socket joint on the ankle of an Atropos that I should probably get. And I got the epoxy out anyway because I wanted to epoxy him to the base to really give it a good solid fix. Because I can't pin it because I don't want to start drilling into it in its state. And so I was like, I will epoxy it and it'll do. Because he's got a nice wide stance, so the weight's fairly well spread on him as well. So it's not. I don't think it needs pinning.
At least when you drop him, his feet will still be stuck on the base.
No, I will fucking drop him. So that is all pretty much done. The Mechanicum almost literally it's finishing touches, powders, eye lenses, rimming the bases.
Yep.
And that is £3,000 of Mechanicum done in 11 months.
That's not bad.
It's awful, considering that when I started, I had 4,000 points worth of Ultramarines and didn't need to do any more to them.
Yeah, but there'll be a lot of people listening. That kind of size army will take them years and years and years. So
I know, but I did take basically a year off work.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
He did faff around.
Fucking lazy with them. Well, the problem was it was actually the amount of events last year, and because I was doing events so frequently, there was never going to be a chance to get the Mechanicum done.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to run the same Ultramarine force, so they always got bumped back behind an Ultramarines project, and it was getting the hoplites and the Secretari done because it was a huge, and the Thralls. That was 60 bodies.
That's the stuff that makes you cry as well when you don't want to do it.
The force suddenly
eating those frogs. If you've ever been to a business conference, and say about eating
getting your head
frogs,
down and getting through them. So they're all done, and they got their first run out last weekend. I bravely put on my hazmat suit. I lubed up, and I went to the Temple of Whack itself. I ran up to the Legion of Imperium. We got to pass. I had to throw all my birthday points out for that. I went, wife, it's my birthday on the Saturday. And she went, yes. And I went, my child is here. And she went, yes. And I went, on the Sunday I'm going to Peterborough. And she went, no, you're not. And I went, yes, I am. It's my birthday. And she looked at me and I went, and just was brave. And she went, okay. So yeah, no, it was really good actually. I got to go up to Peterborough and play with the boys. They ran a 1 day 1,500 point kind of Centurion plus event. So there were some additional restrictions on some things. There were some extra things, so you could take one tank.
Yeah.
There were some extra restrictions, but it was really cool actually, and it suited me perfectly because it literally, I could do it out of the stuff I was working on.
Yeah, it looked awesome. I followed it along. I stayed in the group and followed it because I want to go, but 1 week after Tarssis and 2 weeks before event, I'm now not going to.
Exactly.
I could have actually gone.
Yeah, it could have gone.
I could have actually, if I knew all along and hadn't bought a Company of Legends ticket, I would have probably
you'd have been able
pass.
to take like one Medusa.
Yeah, well, that probably wouldn't have been the tank I took. But
you still have had the Centurion problem you had, the making bodies up.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been great.
There was a lot of Mechanicum at the event actually, because Mechanicum could fill up the points. But yeah, it was really good. Got 4 amazing games in. Got to play Mr. 30k channel himself, Mr. Brains, with his insane Mega Thalax army. We had one of the weirdest, most insane games because the game was basically hurt each other.
Yeah.
And I got Mechanicum, quite fast moving Mechanicum. He's got an extremely fast moving Mechanicum with all Thalax. So I ran up the board. My Thralls made a 6-inch move and a 6-inch run. And we're playing on 4x4s. So they covered half the board in one move. Vroom, Thralls rushed them up the board. It was like, shit. And then we hit combats. And basically Dave's plan was to keep thrust moving away from me.
Yeah.
But I caught him. And then we got, so the Hoplites Lances, Strength 4, AP 4. Because they're Strength +1 and then they're AP 4. Now, most of the time, against a Marine, you're like, great, I'm wounding on 4s and you get your armor save.
Yeah.
Against robots, where you're suddenly wounding on 4s and going through their armor, because they're all AP, they're all 4-up armor saves, those Lances become lethal. And the Hoplites piled in around the Mega. Oh, it was great fun. It was a really tense game, really. And I think it was a 4-all draw in the end of the first game. It was really close. And it was my Peltas, so the shooty Secretary, sweeping his unit of 2 Thalax that were left, destroying them, getting me a final kill point that in the last combat of the last turn that actually made it a draw. So that was really, really tense. Then I played this awful guy in the second round. Fucking horrible, just staring army. Bloody, what's some of his Instagram famous, isn't he? Uplander. No, I got to throw down with Pete, which was absolutely wicked. Getting to play Pete was brilliant fun. It was a really interesting game because he's running all Just Aaron.
Yeah.
So he had 3 squads of Just Aaron, a speeder. He had 3 squads of Just Aaron, a javelin, a Volkite squad, and a dreadnought. I was like, okay, well I'll kill the dreadnought straight away because I took the Venator tank destroyer for the Mechanicum, which is a 4-shot Strength 9 AP2 ordnance shot. I was like, well, that's gonna fuck his dreadnought out straight away. Had to get it into line of sight because we had a big generator in the middle. Killed that. I was like, okay. So it's just there, and I was like, so one thing I realised with the army, I got no access to AP2. I got the Power Fist and the Paragon Blade on the Magos.
Right.
And the Rending on the Thalax. So you're working on getting 6s on them. So not a lot of AP2 to deal with.
3 units.
Like 9 or 10 Terminators. So I was like, I can't do a fat lot. I got to sit back. But then the mission was I needed to get into no man's land and his deployment zone to score. Right. So I got to go at him. But I don't want to go close to those Just Aaron. What we realised is if you want to kill Just Aaron, take thralls.
Oh,
I dragged down 600 points worth of just Darren with 140 point squad of thralls. Pete maintains that I finished them off, but they killed them, Pete. They killed them outright. You got...
This is making him roll saves, isn't it? And he's going to roll ones. Yeah,
volumes of dice. Volumes of dice. It got 8 2-ups. We failed him. 2 just Aaron with a wound each left. You got to make 8 2-up saves. Roll 2 ones and they're dead. But yeah, the Mega Thralls came out. The Mega Thralls that just... Because they went up this way and ate some just Aaron. Then they went back around the generator, ate another squad of just Aaron. And then ran up the board and scores. And it was like... My Thralls are the best thing on the table. So that was fucking really good fun. It was great fun to hang out with Pete. Then we did. They turned up with a shitload of pizzas, and we did best army voting, which was again Tarsis. We'll talk about the standard of hobby was amazing, but up at Peterborough the standard was amazing. The armies were beautiful. I think I made about 5 laps of the venue trying to pick and trying to decide on a best painted army was.
So you just voted for yourself.
Yeah, I voted for myself 8 times. Russian rubles, mate. Pay for them. That was wicked. And then who did I play in the third game? Played Dave Taylor in his Death Guard, which was good. Lovely Death Guard army. Loads of infantry. 1 quad mortar. Death Shroud. What are the other ones? Death Shroud. Grave Wardens.
Grave Wardens, yeah.
Yeah, some veterans. Some missile launch dudes. It was... utterly insane, the game. So the objective was there were 3 objectives on the board. You had to run up and get the objectives and score them at the start of your turn.
Right.
But once you've scored them at the start of the turn, you then roll a dice. On a 1 or a 2, they blow up. They blow up 2d6 inches and do a strength 5, AP5 hit to everything. The way the deployment worked, my army, I'd taken basically a horde, Mechanicum horde. I could fill the entire 4x4 widthwise in a line. And I managed to move up onto all 3 objectives in the first turn. So Dave taking his Terminators and Marines that don't move as fast,
right?
Couldn't get up. So I scored at the start of the second turn all 3 objectives. I detonated 2 of the objectives. Every time I detonated an objective, I rolled at least 10 inch on the explosion, and I nailed my own army. Literally detonated ripped chunks out of my army. He then fired his gas grenades into my thralls. And we lost count at 30 hits from the Grave Wardens on them. And yeah, 8 the thralls. I then scored in the third turn on the last objective. And blew that to shit and blew everything else up as well. My Magos rampaged through everything. Everything died. No objective at all. I won 4-0 on the basis that I'd scored the objectives and then blown them up so he couldn't win. That killed half my army, but it was just one of those crazy games. Yeah, my Magos started eating things, and yeah, it was good fun. By the end, I'd battered him quite a bit more than he'd battered me, but it was such a crazy game. It was really, really good fun. Finally, I finished off with, I think DC had got fed up of me winning most of my games, and he put me against wicked guy Justin, who's known at Peterborough as Leroy Jenkins, because he plays World Eaters. He plays all infantry. And when I said to him, do you know how much about Mechanicum? He went, how much shooting you got? I said, bit. He went, fine. Didn't give a shit about the army. He went, what armor save you got? I got 4 on everything, pretty much. I said, the only thing in my army that more than a 4-up save was my Magos on a turf. And he went, chain axes are AP4. I went, yeah, you touch me, I'm dead. And he went, wicked. So I had my Horde Mechanicum basically on the realm of battle tiles that got a hill. Yeah. So I deployed on that in the corner. Everything literally surrounding the tank in like waves of defense. And he had 80 World Eaters with chain axes. And he ran at me. And the game was, how long can it take him to get to me? And how much damage can I do before he gets there? The answer is, I couldn't do enough damage, and he ate me a fucking alive.
Rorke's Drift.
It was perfect. It was carnage. I got battered. I ended up with my tank left at the end of it. He'd eaten everything. He got 1 unit at the back that he just stopped moving and using because the rest of his army had eaten everything else. It was just insane. But it was just what it should have been. Mechanicum formed up a firing line. The World Eaters charged them and then ripped them to shreds. Utterly gutted them. It was brilliant. I got absolutely smashed to pieces in the end on that one. But it was such a fun game because it was like, I had one simple plan. stay the fuck away from him. He had one simple plan: eat them.
Yeah.
And it was Mechanicum versus Wildy as exactly what should have happened. And I just got absolutely eaten alive. So that was dead good fun. It was really, really good. The guys did an amazing job putting it all together. The narrative, the way the missions work. I've taken a lot on board for how things that I'm going to shamelessly rip off for the next Tarssis, because I did some things that I'd been trying to work out how to do. They executed them really well, and I'm going to take them on board.
There's things we discussed, wasn't there? We
we
couldn't have done for the last one because the amount of people we had, which we'll come on to as we talk about it later.
But things we're going to take on board for the next one, how we're going to achieve stuff. So yeah, it was brilliant. I mean,
train's all amazing because it's
all 30k channel terrain
stuff, which is anyone's
so
seen it, it's incredible. But
yeah, so that was incredible, and yeah, there are a few awards at the end. The only feedback I'd give them, and this is a very personal opinion.
Is this that you only got one award, and
and
that people obviously had 4 great games against you?
They had the best games. They had the best games. I'm the best Heresy player.
Your hands are quite small, aren't they, Tom?
I like little children's fingers.
Like Jeremy Beagle had.
3 of the 5 awards were for. So there was most victory points scored winner, most victory points scored traitor, and most victory points overall. It's only a personal opinion. But in a narrative event, I personally don't like rewarding that. Yeah. Because it encouraged... 3 of the 5 rewards were for winning your games. Yeah. And this is not a criticism of the event at all in the site. It's my only feedback. Yeah. Maybe the 1 overall might have been enough. Yeah. You scored the most victory points out of everybody on both sides. Cool, no problem.
Did the feel of the event, though, from the way you've talked about it, everyone just sounded like it was all based around it being narrative anyway.
Yes,
so maybe that scoring doesn't really fit.
It was the clash of So the whole pitch of the event and the way the event ran felt very narrative, and we felt like part of the side, and we were fighting this battle, and we knew what the mission was about and where we stood in the war. And then 3 out of the 5 awards
they just wanted to give away some awards, and they didn't know what else to give other than.
But I'd rather give 3 awards, good awards, than try and do 5, because it just felt jarring. It was like, because to be honest, I don't even know how many victory points I got over the 4 games, because I wasn't interested. If I was like, oh well, I've won, or I've lost, or I've drawn, that was to me all that was interesting. Now it may only be a very personal opinion, and it's definitely what we do at Tarsis. We don't reward.
Yeah, some people like that as well. So it probably swings and roundabouts.
It swings and roundabouts, and it's not a criticism, and I couldn't recommend going up to one of those events highly enough. They are fantastic. But for me, it just felt jarring. Like, now you're rewarding good play, and we've discussed this when we're doing this, making sure there's awards for everybody, every aspect of the hobby that people enjoy. Yeah. So having an overall most victory points scored, cool. That rewards the person who enjoys playing the game. The gaming is the big draw. If and then reward hobby and reward other things as well, which is fine, and it's not a criticism at all, except for Winless, he's a bastard, but he was playing he did play a couple of games as traitor Talons of the Emperor, so they had a drop. Sam Jones, Sam Beecher wimped out. Got car issues. Get in your fucking bike and ride from Portsmouth to fucking Peterborough, mate. Go on. Real man would have done it.
His bike's probably still in the shop, isn't it?
No, I meant push bike. I meant push bike. Yeah, no, his bike is fucked.
After you
tank
had
shock
that hit on him, yeah.
He failed his tank shock. So yeah, they were filling in and trying to fill in. So Winless did play traitor. Well, we had Winless playing traitor Talons, and then I think Ben stepped in and played 2 games as Alpha Legion, and then Jamie rolled up with his fucking militia horde and played the last game. So actually, it was quite nice to see Jamie Fox as well. He rolled up, played his militia in the last game as well. So it was good. It was good, but it was the only thing. It wasn't a negative. It was this feels a bit jarring. Yeah, a bit out of context of what the rest of the event was in. So, and it is difficult. You want to reward people coming up with awards. What do we come up with? So yeah, no, it was fine. It was fantastic, and I am now a 3-time award-winning painter.
You are.
I've won more Heresy painting awards than you.
You have.
You may have a Golden Demon pin, but I got volume.
I need to go to some events.
It's great. Yeah, I walked away with Best Army, and what makes it more special to me is it's voted for by the players. which is nice because it's it's a group vote then,
really
so
nice. And deserved by looks of things. I can only you can't tell much from the pictures, but looking at all
you haven't
the
actually
shots,
seen much of the Mechanicum, have you? Haven't you actually seen it? You've seen it when we played.
I've seen it. I've seen it any more than I saw anything else. I've seen some of it, but it looked like.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it.
It looked like it was a good decision from photos, and if you can judge anything from a group of photos.
Badly lit because everything's lit from above, but yeah, no, I was quite pleased. It's nice to see that time and effort has paid off, and it was.
And you've won something with both armies, then, haven't you? So.
So I'm just fucking brilliant, aren't I?
Absolutely. Well, you're making Heresy great again.
Making Heresy great again. Making painting great again. I'm the best painter ever. Ask anybody, they'll tell you. I'm definitely the best painter ever. Oh dear God. So yeah, I've been quite busy. Doing stuff.
There's a lot happened.
Tarsis is
Tarsis, really.
But the thing is, Tarsis is such a big thing. I can't remember anything before it. It's like a big poof, and then it's sort of, like AD and BC. It's kind of like before Tarsis and after Tarsis. Like there's a huge chunk in my time where things have reset now.
Are you now saying that you're Christ?
Jesus. yeah, pretty much. The birth of Strump. What can we have? BS before Strump and AS after Strump. We're now measuring all Heresy timelines in BS and AS. So we are now currently what 2 weeks after Tarssis, so we are 2 weeks AS. I mean, you could say 2 weeks ASS.
But we're also before Tarsis as well.
Yeah, we've
got more coming, and we spent an hour and a half planning the next one.
This is the thing. This is the joke, isn't it? So we roll out of Tarsis. I started combining the PDF. So we're going to be releasing an anthology of fluff for Tarsis, but I'll talk about that a bit later. I was trying to do that today. We've been dealing with a survey, been gathering feedback. So Tarsis 4 Martyrs hasn't even finished, and I've spent the last 2 days finalising the pack for the next one. Because tickets for that go on sale in about 5 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
But then it's 3 months till the event. Less than 3 months till the event. It's never fucking ending.
But there's not, again, every event that happens, there's not the same amount of stuff to do because there's no more terrain.
If I don't fuck up the terrains. So we will
don't break anything in the meantime.
There's one table of terrain I want to get rid of now because it's the oldest table of club terrain and it is bad. The big grey ruins table is a bit battered now. I want to add some scattered terrain to my main table, so the one with the grey corner ruins, because it's all buildings. There's a few.
The point is, I want to probably not the most interesting radio where we just discussing what tables we need, but
so for this event,
you didn't have to do anything.
No, but I've got another table plan. And hopefully, it just means I've got to cycle one table in and out. So that'll do. So as long as I don't fuck up the tickets again and double sell it, you should hopefully own. But then what I'll do is I'll now take that as an opportunity to really develop all the other stuff that I can do. I can work on all the feedback. But again, we'll cover this.
We'll cover this when we go through it.
So anything else we want to mention then?
Right then. So 2 announcements, I suppose. One competition. And some merchandise.
We have a number of big dice for big men making big rules. Rolls? Fuck. We have some limited edition, never to be repeated again because Stu will order them next time. 22mm Geno 5.2 dice. So they're black and white dice that you've seen previously.
Yeah.
They are now we've had them for a while, but because we've been dealing with Tarsis, we haven't got around to sorting out. But we now have them for sale.
Are you embarrassed about the oversize of your hands? Buy Geno dice and your hands will look smaller.
Imagine what they look like in my tiny hands. They are 22mm, so they are big. They're bigger than Forgeworld dice. Yeah, Forgeworld Limited. But they are great, and if you can't roll them on the table, you can put them in a sock and beat somebody to death with them.
In sets of 5, perfect for objectives, good for tracking victory points and things as well. That's why I use my bigger dice.
Snitch.
I like to use bigger dice for those things. You don't pick them up and roll them then when you're looking for dice.
Absolutely. So
they have their uses.
So 5.
So like you could hold a door open with them, or
build a small house, an igloo. Yeah, they're fucking excellent. Can you imagine what the weight of the fuckers are?
If you're quite short and you want to reach something on the top shelf,
you want to
stand on one. You could. Yeah.
You saw the blue dice bag, which are the event dice for the year, and which are like 600 or 700 of them. You could literally kill a man with them. I'm just going to spin around with them and wipe people out. I reckon if I swing him hard enough, I could put the Earth axis off. Fucking ridiculous. But they're brilliant. If you want some limited edition, never to be done again, Geno dice. So we're going to be looking at £10 for a set of 5.
That's postage.
That includes your postage. Will be second class recorded.
Second class recorded in the UK.
So you will get recorded delivery on those. So that'll be a tenner via PayPal to Geno. Drop us a message if you're interested in buying some. Messages first. Don't just send money via PayPal, because just in case we sell out, we don't want to be refunded. We're going to sell out because they're the best dice in the world. They are the greatest dice ever.
They are nice.
They are
so
nice
really
that I
still
nice
don't have
quality.
a set, Tom.
Well, I've got 2 by my bed because they just made way too many, and I bagged them all up in bags of 5s, and there were like 3 left.
They're blocking out the light, aren't they?
Yeah. So I use them for holding up the RSJs in my house. I've got to put a bag aside for Stu because he wants some. I've got 2 for me because I haven't got any more room in my dice bag because I've got 5 massive Firestorm dice as well. Yeah. Send us a message and we'll just confirm. We need your address and we'll get your PayPal off you. It's £10 posted in the UK per set. If you want a lot, speak to us because we might be able to do a deal because we can combine postage on a few.
Or it might be, if there's so many, it might actually get more expensive because of weight and stuff as well.
Yeah,
so if you want lots and lots,
drop us a message.
We'll give you a bespoke price.
Yeah, I've got 250, so bar what I've given away and sold and flung at people and stuff. So we probably got about 200 sets of dice to sell. 200 bags of 5. 200 divided into bags of 5. So just drop us a message and we'll sort it. Now, for our European and international listeners, it will be £12 shipped worldwide. But that's we've taken a bit of a punt.
That probably won't be tracked at that price.
It probably won't be tracked. If we can get it tracked at that price, we will, because we'd rather send it tracked. It'll depend on country.
So if you want to pay a bit more for extra speed
we can
or security, we can
sort that. But we were trying to work out, because you do a lot of shipping internationally, and you were like, well, over to Europe it's this.
It just varies.
So we just thought we'll take a punt. We'll take a punt at it because we got states, and again, if you want to do a group order and distribute them out from there, I know Mr. Jackson's out in Seattle. He might take a load and distribute from there or something. So we can do something. Again, we're happy to work with people and try and. Yeah, if you want to buy a bunch, we'll work it out and sort out. So yeah, just drop us a message, and we'll sort out.
It'll help us fund our hosting again this year, and probably invest in more dice.
Yeah, if we do go, right size dice. If we do go to events,
gaming dice rather than
bricklaying dice. If we've still got them left by the time we go to Company of Legends, I'll take a few bags up with me there. And if you see us in person, it's £7.50 for a set of dice in person, just because it's easier. Now, it will have to be PayPal because apparently Stu doesn't trust me to take cash because I might run off.
You can take cash. You're just going to have to put it in your bank and then transfer it to the PayPal, and that's...
You'll never see that money again. So, yeah, PayPal us because it's easier for me as well because I ain't got change and shit like that as well. So, we'll deal with that when we're on. So, yeah, drop us a message. So, that's my bit done, really, the dice fuck up.
Yeah.
And then you were going to announce our next Geno 5.2 competition.
Our competition, absolutely. So we were very, 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 very lucky to have some merchandise from the XLC. So Jody came to Tarssis and brought some a whole table worth of terrain that we used on the day. And he also made up 3 limited edition Geno paint stations. If you've been on, it was 4.
Yeah, 1 for each prize.
Yeah, that's right. It was 4.
We gave away 3.
Yes, we gave away 3. So one was handed back to us by Dan Wheeler. Doesn't use paint stations.
Yeah,
so,
very similar.
He just said, "I'm not going to use this. Can you give it back to you, and you can kind of pass it on?" So we decided to give it away as a prize.
Yeah.
And then you were given another one at the weekend, weren't you?
Yeah, I won one from as part of the prize package for Best Army up there, and it's an XLC branded one. And again, I don't use paint stations. It was a lovely prize, and I was stoked to get it. But
we're both lucky enough to have a hobby space where some people will have a temporary space. If you have a temporary space,
so I thought,
on your lap,
we'll donate that out as well and pick a winner. And and so what we'll probably do is put up a paint station and a set of dice as a combo prize for people.
Yeah. So we'll randomise who wins the Geno one, who wins the XLC branded one. So the way we're going to do it, just to make it really complicated for you all. So generally, the person who wins this has got a little bit of aptitude because loads of people are going to screw this up.
It's rule me straight out.
So you need to go to this is all going to be Facebook based, just for.
It's easiest for us to manage.
It's a bit crazy when you split it over multiple things, but if you go to the XLC's Facebook page. like it, screenshot so we can see that you liked it. Go to Incom Gaming. My leg's fallen off. Something's fallen off.
Fuck me, that was a hell of a shit you dropped.
Go to Incom Gaming's
Facebook
page, like it, screenshot it.
Yeah.
And then go to the thread for this show. So when we announce the show and put the link out, go to the thread for this show and post as a comment both of those pictures.
Yeah.
And then we'd like to share this show as well if possible. But
one thing to bear in mind when you share this show is if your security settings are locked down, we can't always see you've shared it. So to be on the safe side, give us a screenshot of you sharing it as well. Like I said, we're not trying to do it for, we've got to make sure everybody's won it. Just, it'll make our life easier and make sure everybody who has genuinely entered and done it has got a fair entry.
Most important thing is that we support Incom and XLC because I think the people that listen to us probably sharing the shows.
I mean, you're going to have to like our page to share the show anyway as well. So
we're not so worried about that. But it'd be nice if you shared the show as well. Get the word out there.
Chip's put a lot of work into supporting the Tarssis events, and he does a lot of fucking work to he lets us run riot in his pub for a weekend and get away with all kinds of crazy shit up there. So we want to give him some love back. Supporting local friendly gaming stores. Jody, he sent us so much stuff this year already. The stencils, the paint station. We didn't ask him to make the paint stations. He just sent us a message, said, "I've made these. Do you want them?" Fucking brilliant. So give him some. Their new Kickstarter. So if you've seen the Tarssis pictures, there was one of the tables which was all the new Gothic range of the XLC's new Kickstarter terrain. So they did the Station 111 last year. They're doing a Gothic. So
they're going to have it all on display at Salute, aren't they?
Yeah, and it goes live the day after Salute. So the day the tickets for Tarssis go up for sale, the 16th of April, their Kickstarter will go live. So give it a like because you want to get on that. Our table is lovely. We've both been watching it being developed, and I got to play on it a couple of weeks ago at
we're quite lucky because he's been sending us pictures as he's been developing it behind the scenes and saying what do you think of this and that. It's been cool.
That big hexagon building that he's made is my fault because I was building those yellow ones and he was like, oh, they're really good, I'm making them. So it's got even bigger because of me. So yeah, we want to support them. Jody donated a table, which meant it was one less table I had to fucking do.
Yeah.
He supported us, so we'd really like to give the XLC a shout out.
Good guys, good small businesses in the hobby. So
and now our hobbyers, Jody's Raven Guard are
awesome. And he's a host of
and he's a host of
podcast as well.
So go and give. You don't have to do this to enter the competition, but go and check out the Unremembered Heresy because it features the nicest man in Heresy, Mr. Callum, the wife stealer in Heresy, Mr. Sam, and the charge of the light javelin brigade, Jody, who likes to run as many javelins as he can in Centurion and run people down. So.
So to recap,
give it a proper, concise recap.
Like XLC's Facebook page, screenshot it. Like the Incom Gaming's Facebook page, screenshot it. Post those screenshots in the comments of this show's Facebook announcement thread.
Yeah.
And if you can like and share our podcast page and this show as well, that would be fantastic. Good. But it's not a major requirement.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And we'll announce the winner on the next show.
Yeah, next show.
Yeah, next show we'll announce the winner, and yeah, that would be awesome. And I might even hassle Chip and see if we can get something else out of him as well. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Go on, Chippy. Give us some more stuff.
He doesn't listen. Well, he does, but he's about 6 months behind.
Yeah, I'll get a message in 6 months going, oh yeah, I'll give you some stuff for the competition. Yeah, it's finished, Chip. It's finished. Yeah, no, that's cool. Right, what else have we got then, Stuart? Because my laptop keeps shutting.
So, so we got a listener message here, and I think this is pertinent to our final our segment, the hobby one. So, yeah, we were thinking about what we could do for a hobby segment, and when this message sort of popped in the plopped. Spent too much time on myself. Popped into our email just as we were chatting about it. So his name's Patrick here on Instagram. It's Stuka06. So he said, recently started listening to podcasts while painting and already posted my Emperor's Children in the Facebook group.
They are looking very lovely.
They are, very much so.
Perfection.
While I am committed to finish painting a 100-strong company of 40k Dark Angels, like everyone, new products are enticing all the time. For the question, So it's the hobby question list. So this is what we're going to be covering in more detail, but I'll read through it all because there's a bit more than we've added later. But it says, so how do you deal with applying new techniques to an existing force? Well, I've been in the hobby for many years. I had a huge gap due to
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. See, I was thinking, what's that? Not World of Warcraft, and the environment changed dramatically since then. The hobby has such a bigger presence online. It's way easier to connect with other hobbyists. YT? What's that? Just short for. He's full of
YouTube. You're such a fucking old man now.
No, I don't do.
I'm down with the kids.
We talk on text and Messenger all the time. How many times do I abbreviate words? I don't.
You don't.
Full punctuation most of the time as well. YouTube is
full
of
great.
I
just send you fucking nonsense most of the time, badly spelled.
Not
eight messages trying to deal with autocorrect.
You don't abbreviate stuff that much either.
No.
But so YouTube is full of great tutorials from Warhammer TV to Golden Demon, our winners like Ben Comets, blah blah blah. Podcasts as well. So as such, my progress as a painter has been leaps and bounds in the last 3 years compared to the first 10. Yet, since I have a certain standard in mind for my army, it takes quite a while to finish a force, compounded by the focus of forces like they would be in fluff instead of tailored army lists. For example, my Emperor's Children use Sector Imperialis bases, and now I want more custom bases to integrate with the models for road weathering. So, how do you deal with the struggle between increased personal expectations and the drive to finish a product while maintaining a coherent look? So we're going to cover that in our hobby section, but that's where we got the idea from. So it's basically, how do you maintain a theme? How do you deal with changes in your skills? So your stats, so the stuff you painted 2 years ago will look to match well with the stuff you're painting now, and so on. So we're going to discuss that later. Now I'm going to have to get Tom off his phone because he's sending messages.
No, I'm looking at the social media post, so now I've got to chip in this bit.
The next bit is a list question, and it's robots, so I'm not even going to attempt to answer it.
Beep beep boop 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 beep beep boop boop. So. Right, as for the list question, Mechanicum is quite a rare force in our hobby club, with only one guy having a considerable force, including a Reaver. Just a little force then with a Reaver. Big stumpy death robots sound like fun to play. They are. I dabbled a little with Battle Scrub and built a 2K Legio Cybernetica force. Team is Magos and his pals are walking around with the toys. He basically said he doesn't want a dick punching list, but he doesn't want to get dick punched everyone.
Yeah.
I'll be fairly honest with Cybernetica. I've not played Cybernetica myself, but I've played a fair few. Chances of you getting rolled off the table straight away are quite low, because you've got a lot of big monstrous creatures with multi-wounds. So it becomes more of a case of regulating the list. It's quite easy to go nuts with Cybernetica. Maybe not so much nowadays. Custos will take them apart quite easily. Yeah, but it's quite good. So what have we got then? We got Magos Dominus, an Archmagos Dominus with a Machinator Array, who's basically going to hang out with the Thanatar. Magos Dominus with a Machinator Array, who hangs out with some Castellax, and another Magos Dominus with a Machinator Array, and a Mount Bomb going with the other Castellax. Castellax is a fucking thing you buy from IKEA, it's sat behind you. Castellax. So his two troops are Castellax, first one's two Castellax with Dark Fires and Enhanced Targeting. Then he's got another Castellax with Power Blades, another pair. He's then got two squads of Thalax, which are 3 with Destructor and a Photon Thrusters, then 2 the same. Then Voraxes, set 3 Voraxes, and then a Thanatar.
2.
2 Thanatars. Yeah, the first thing that jumps out at me, 2 Thanatars is pretty tough.
Yeah.
So I would drop a Thanatar, go down to 1 Thanatar and give it Paragon of Metal so it can sit on its own.
Yeah.
That frees you up a Magos Dominus to go with the Vorax, because they run around on their own. They're going to be on program behaviour.
Right.
So if you get Magos Dominus in with them, it gives you a bit more control, gives you a bit more fear. It's not a bad thing. It's not an unheard of thing to do with Vorax, but I would give the Thanatar Paragon of Metal so he can sit on its own as well. So you're not basically leaving, because it's going to be sat with this Plasma Mortar sat at the back. Yeah. You're leaving an HQ just kind of sat around. We'll give it Paragon of Metal for 45 and let it do its thing. And you can only give 1 model in a unit Paragon of Metal, so you might as well drop it down to 1. Just have the 1 with Paragon of Metal. Let him bombard the shit out of people.
And then you got some extra points. Then?
Yeah, you got a couple of options. So 2 pairs of Castellax, I'm not a massive fan of, because I think you want one bigger unit. So I'd be tempted to drop a Castellax with Power Blaze, make the Darkfire ones a 3, and put a Magos with them. Combine the 2 Thalax into one unit.
Yeah.
Because I don't think 3 work too well unless you're going Suicide Squad with them.
Yeah.
If you're going to go 3, go Suicide Squad with a multi-melter, Destructor, and Metal Bombs. Deep strike him in behind something. Try kill it with the multi-melter, and then bounce around with Metal Bombs.
Yeah.
If you're going to run them on the field a bit more, you want 6. I think you want a bigger squad. I like running mine as a 6 now, because I think they're more effective as a 6. So I'd probably combine them into one.
Yeah.
Photon Thruster's not too bad. You've got no melee really in this. I'd be tempted to put them into one, give them all heavy chain blades, and give them Ferox. So you've got Rage and Rending.
Yeah.
And that's your combat squad. And then I'm sort of.
We still got the points there to have another.
Yeah, I would then make them. I would then get your Archmagos a jetpack.
Yeah.
Well, no, you probably don't want to do that really, because you're running Cybernetica, and so you need one Magos with the Castellax, you need one with the Vorax, and you've got another spare Magos. So yeah, you could make a bit of a beastie combat Magos, Archmagos with a jetpack and a load of weapons and stuff, and maybe go bouncing around with that. Maybe I might be tempted to drop a Thalax squad, run one Thalax squad as a Suicide Squad with the multi-melter and the melt bombs. Then put one extra Castellax in each unit of the 2, so you still got 2. Then it's not 2 units to 3.
Then you've got your combat Castellax
squad. But then make your Archmagos a combat beast and stick him in with the combat Magos and running around. Because having an Archmagos sat at the back with a Thanatar is a bit of a waste of an Archmagos. You might as well run a Magos and just sit him back there. But make him Paragon of Metal with 1.
Yeah.
And then use that Magos, make him into a bit of a combat monster with a 3-up invol and running around with the Castellax. Because that will be a fucking shit ton to move. That will be a pain in the ass to move that. Give him power blades and stuff. So, yeah, I haven't pointed it up. I haven't gone heavily in there. But there's some ideas. If you can, 6 4-axe outflanking are fucking brilliant. They're beastly. But that's a 500 point unit with 6 of them and enhanced targeting arrays and stuff. So, I think I've found the flaw in my Mechanicum army, which is running the Knight and them. I've got 1,000 points tied up in 2 units, which is what kind of the way I do things. Though I always seem to make massive, ridiculous monster units and then realise I've got nothing else on the board. But 3 with a Magos will give you more control. It will give you more ability to pick what you want to target and where you want to go. So, yeah, that's it. And if you want to chat, you want to talk lists, drop us a message, send us a Facebook message, and we can always have a chat about lists in maybe a bit more detail and funny through it. I will admit I am a junior Magos. I have 5 Mechanicum games under my belt, all under 1,500 points. If you want senior Magos advice, speak Mr. Brendan at Sons of Heresy, or see Tim at Horus.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're, I don't know, you said you've just got into podcasts. If you've not done it yet, get on the Horus. Go back a couple of months now, and they've done Tim and Brendan did a 4-part demystifying the Mechanicum mega rant.
At least was it
3 or 4 parts?
Three, maybe,
they did 3 really big shows.
Probably got about 9 hours worth of
and they went through everything in a load of detail. So that would be a great resource for you to play and go back, because they go through all the different types of armies and lots of different combos and everything you can do. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been listening to chunks of that, and I got lots of ideas from that as well. So we can go and try that out. This is a really long pause.
Yeah.
I should make a comment about it so you can't edit it out. That was a really fucking long pause.
I can edit that out, don't you worry.
Yeah, but it's just going to make me sound really fucking weird.
That's not a problem.
You don't need much of it.
It's not a problem for me at all.
Right, I think that probably is a good point to draw a line under it. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we take a break?
No, I think we've covered it well.
Cool. Let's take a break and we'll be back.
Geno52 is sponsored by Incom Gaming, the new centre for tabletop wargaming in Gloucestershire. Visit incomgaming.co.uk for great savings on pre-orders and all your hobby needs. We stock many gaming systems and hobby accessories and can ship to anywhere in the UK. Incom Gaming is the only UK stockists of the market-leading gaming mats from GameMats.eu. Visit the store and check out how to turn your tabletop into a battlefield. Incom Gaming is based in the centre of Cheltenham and offers tables and scenery for casual and organised play with a fully licensed bar. Check out our events page for upcoming events where everyone is welcome. Save an additional 10% on Games Workshop Heresy products by using the code Geno52 at the checkout. Visit incomgaming.co.uk and help fight the betrayal. Incom Gaming. Come game, shop, drink. To shop elsewhere is Heresy.
Boom chicka wow wow. Welcome back. We are back with the main section of tonight's show. We are going to reflect upon Tarssis 4, The Rise of the Martyrs. I hate when people read my fluff out. I get so cringy when I think of these things, and then I hear somebody read it out and I think, I wrote that and it sounds really stupid.
That's what I thought when I was reading it out.
I know, it sounds fucking dumb. Which is why I've employed a ghostwriter for the next one.
Yes, a good one.
Let's give a brief...
A ghostwriter, you mean that you've still got your name to it?
No, I will credit Pete in it. Well, no, most people will know it's not me because it will be spelt correctly and legible and make sense. So, yeah, anyway, we'll cover that in a bit. Yep. So, a brief overview of The Rise of the Martyrs. So, it was the 4th event in the Tarssis 4 series. Tarssis 4 was supposed to be one event. It spiralled out because I have no other creative ideas at the moment. It's now 4 events. So, it's been an ongoing campaign, which is basically saying invasion of the planet, rolling through a battle to the tertiary hive of the planet Nervia. You say
Glavensium.
It's like I saw it. Nervia Glavensium.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's right. I've never heard it.
No, I've never heard it. Only the way you pronounce it.
I just read it.
Which is a tertiary hive. The third event then was the wars for the hive.
Yep.
Which basically resulted in the hive collapsing and warp portals opening everywhere. So we had a tear in the Imperium. This event has now become... So this is the Rise of the Martyr event has become... basically, the hive collapsed at the end of the last event. There's demons running everywhere. All the heroes have scattered. All the leaders have gone. And this event was tattered bands of survivors coming together to battle, to try and close... Well, basically, the Loyalists are trying to close the warp portals and stave off demon incursion. So to reflect that, it was a Centurion event. So small, battered little war bands. We ran the Shadow Wars missions because it's exactly what they're designed for. You know,
yep.
Battered small forces fighting guerrilla warfare. And because all the heroes are gone, no named or unique characters. And then because we wanted to see how many nerds we could ram in a room, we decided to make it doubles. So it was 1,000 points a player, so 2,000 points a side, doubles event, which was great. It was a really great thing to try. Just to get... Let's play in doubles. Let's just add another thing to it. So yes, it was a doubles event, playing Centurion, 1,000 points a player, Shadow Wars missions. What I was looking to achieve was to drive the narrative. I wanted to draw the Nervia the tertiary hive section of the story to an end, to build to a crescendo. I want to end Tarssis 4 this year. This will be the end of the planet this year, and we will move on to new things next year. We're currently in discussions on. But yeah, that's what I was aiming to achieve, trying to just thematically bring the death of the hive to a head, deal with the demon incursion. So there were 2 possible results: a loyalist victory, which would close the warp portals, or a loyalist traitor victory, which would incur a full-scale demon invasion of the planet. So yeah, that's what I wanted to set out for. And what were you sort of setting out to achieve with this, Stu? Get through it?
I think to try and improve upon the things that we identified from the last event.
Yep,
I think
definitely.
That was the major thing. So in terms of achievements, it's been a rolling narrative anyway, so we're just continuing over. But yeah, it was some of the feedback we had, the things that we wanted to do better was to try and improve those this time. I think on the whole we did. So it was just about increasing the changing the way the narrative worked a little bit. You're the writer of the rules pack side of things. I'm a proofreader and questioner of certain things. But
sanity checker.
Yeah, so I wanted to improve the bits, I suppose, that I had biggest hand in, I suppose. So last time we did audio fluff both the last 2 events.
Yeah.
It was okay, but it was difficult for people to sort of know what to do because it was just audio. People were standing around, so we added some images this time, so people were staring at a screen, watching a little bit of it. We call it video. It's scrolling images really with a few little effects.
Video.
And stuff.
I showed Ben Cooper from 30k Frontier we showed him how to do a video properly, didn't we? Yeah, he's only a fucking professional.
Unfortunately, my day job isn't doing that. So as can be very very clearly seen.
I like the water effect and the lightning.
It was good, wasn't it? It's good. It's me learning how to use
various plugins.
This new program that I found for free. But it was improving those elements, the bits I had sort of had a hand in really, and supporting you as much as possible, and trying to. We didn't make any real mistakes in the previous events, but improve on the little bits that we knew that we could improve on.
Continuous improvement.
Absolutely. So
I think one of the things that came out of it is what we suffered is actually we made a lot of improvements, but we obviously had the issues around the event size getting much bigger, and actually the improvements we made were lost in the ability of being able to deliver that from 40 people to suddenly being able to deliver it to 68 people.
Yeah.
You know, it got difficult. Not difficult. It's a different challenge trying to deliver narrative and story to 68 people.
Yeah.
As it is to deliver it to 10, 20 people.
The doubles changed the dynamic of that quite a lot as well. Because
quite a bit, yeah.
I think naturally player mentality turns into a lot more relaxed, having fun with your mates kind of thing, which you do anyway, but you're less kind of focused on your own narrative, your army, when you're kind of, I think, people were generally, I imagine most people picked their partner based around friends and people they knew, not because that partner had an army that they fitted with a narrative of what they were doing. So there's always going to be things that work against narrative in that sense, because things will be shoehorned together. Some people would have written new lists, which they did, matched from, there was create something new, but a lot of it would have been just mates there for a day's gaming as well.
Yeah,
so
this is who I've got to play with, so I will play with this person.
Stuck with this person.
Stuck with this right wanker.
So there were challenges. I think if one of the major things we wanted to improve on was how the narrative was presented, not just in terms of audio visual, but also that it was a little bit easier to understand for people. And I think we did that, but like you said, we lost a little bit of that in trying to deliver that to double the amount of double the amount of people.
Over double. It was 30. I know it would have been double, wouldn't it? Yeah, because it was 34 last time and it was 68 this time.
So I think some of it lost with that. I mean, we've got our feedback
about
our survey, and some of the comments of things about narrative is that some people really enjoyed the narrative, some people felt they weren't so much part of it. And
it was the engagement within the narrative.
It's very hard
we
to
lost,
engage that many people when it was almost too many people to remember everyone. I think for the last event when there was 34 people and it was over a weekend as well, 2 days. By the end of it, I would have remembered people's name by their face.
I had something very embarrassing happen. I turned up at the Legion of Peterborough, and Grant, I'm making a public apology to now, because I said, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Tom." And he went, "Yeah, I met you last weekend." And I went, "Yeah, I'm really sorry." And then he stuck his name sticker on. I went, "Grant, I know who you are now." So yeah, Grant, I do apologize. And that to me is worse. One of the worst things is I spend all my time trying to get around and see everyone and speak to everyone. And there were people, a lot of people I got to have a chat with. A lot of people that didn't get much more than, "How you doing? You all right?
Yep.
Everything okay?" Which is not what I want. I want to engage with people. I want to talk to people. I want to speak to people. So, just the sheer volume of people. If we had a weekend with 68, I would have got more. Yeah. But we had, there was the logistical problems of getting 68 players to the right table. Sorting. We didn't have too many issues, to be fair. We had our Tom Clowes approved spreadsheet, which made
something else
fucking massive improvement, which we'll talk about in a minute, which helped with the admin of the event hugely. But it got us. It was still an admin to do, and by the time we got rounds going and people are playing games, they don't want you hassling you every 2 minutes saying you're all right, rah, rah, rah. Yeah. So you want to let people play their games. So I'd like to have engaged more with people personally as well, but again, 68 players, we're running around like crazy.
I mean, from the admin point of view, actually, that's a good point to bring up. So let's thank Tom now, and we'll roll into it. So last time, we spent a lot of time between rounds trying to work out the next round. Some of it we did it manually. We did it with almost a kind of objective of, like, this army looks quite tough. Let's try and batch them against this one. This person, they'll play a good game together.
Very customizable.
Extremely, and it also. It's just ridiculous, probably on many levels. We were trying to be too involved in it, and we didn't really realise that. Well, I didn't really realise that until I put all the names in the spreadsheet that Tom Clowes made for us. This really nice spreadsheet that just auto generated all of the names and all the games. And I looked at it and thought, right, we got to adjust a couple because of grudges. I think there were 3 grudges. We're very lucky. So we adjusted the grudges, and then I looked at it and went, we don't need to do any more. We were overthinking it before. Because
actually, in all the other matchups, nobody had a bad matchup, and it was just completely random.
We were just trying to kind of over control it, and we just didn't really know. And when I think we were freed up by the fact there was 68 people there, so it's 34 teams. Yeah. We just knew we couldn't.
There was no way we were going to be able to custom curate every match, and actually, a lot of people thought we had.
Yeah.
Because they felt the matchups were that good, and the armies worked so well together that we had sat down and gone. Oh, a couple of people said, "Oh, I'm really glad you put me up against Armin." I was like, I didn't. The fucking computer did.
Johnny and Jason just sort of loosely called out all talons.
Johnny and Brendan.
Sorry.
They brought all their demons and wanted to fight in the webway all the time.
And
2 out of 3 games were at Custos.
Yeah, and that was a spreadsheet. It wasn't anything. It wasn't us at all. But so it worked out quite well, and it made a massive difference. Cause
took a huge pressure off.
In terms of, I thought we could be in trouble on the day.
Yeah.
Because were times when the time before the event before we got a bit frantic at times, and we had certain issues. A lot of that was caused around matchups.
Yeah,
and I felt that out of all of the events, this one actually, in terms of getting people to tables, playing their games, I felt that this one was probably the smoothest.
Yeah, when we say matchups, it wasn't necessarily like trying to avoid people or whack and stuff like that. It was duplications of people playing people playing on the same table multiple times, those kind of things.
There were a couple of that this time round,
but nobody seemed really that bothered. It's something I kind of put that rule out. I don't want anybody to play on the same table twice, and there was for no other reason. I just thought people shouldn't.
There
were a couple of people who did play multiple times on the table, like, I'm not bothered by it at all. Now maybe if you're playing 5 games over a weekend and you play all 5 games on the same table, but whether it was people just being chilled out because they knew we got a lot to deal with and being good, but maybe it's not such an important issue to a lot of people.
No, I think we over worry about it too much. But the spreadsheet made a massive difference. Tom did a great job on it. We're going to test it out next time, I suppose, over 5 rounds, how it works. And if there are any spreadsheet experts out there, so Tom did an awesome job on this, and he knows I'm going to say this as well. I've got his permission.
And the thing is, it's not just are you good at colour coding. I mean, are you
really good?
The fucking formulas in there. I looked at and went, I have no idea what any of that means.
So right now, this spreadsheet, you can put it sorts players into random matchups, and added loyalists and traitors are in there.
Yeah, and over as many rounds as you want.
Yeah,
and it will not guarantee no duplication, but obviously depending on the amount of numbers you've got, and it will go. You will do a large amount of rounds before you go back to the beginning where people start playing each other in. But it will do a huge combination of rounds, and it was generates.
And we started with it and then edited back. What Tom couldn't do, and he tried but couldn't work out how to do, was something to add grudges in, and a way of kind of, once you manually change something, that it kind of auto generates again without matchup. So if anyone who thinks they're up to a challenge and wants us to, happy to receive a spreadsheet in an email and wants to have a look at it, then give us a shout. Because we'd love the ability to be able to add in the grudges. And then hit generate.
The next thing would be then to allocate
table numbers and keep them random as well. That would be awesome.
That would be fucking wicked, but that's it.
Beyond me. What Tom did is absolutely incredible. It's amazing.
It's
I did say to him, do you mind if on the show when we're thanking you, I don't want it to sound like we've been ungrateful, because it's not that at all.
But if somebody could take it to the next level,
someone
it would be fun.
Good, wants to play around with it.
And this is not a Geno 5.2 thing. This is a community resource. Even if you
want
don't want to tweak it, you're not in but you'd like to use it for an event you're running, yeah, we'll send it over. It's got instructions how to use it. I mean, you worked out how to use it in one go, didn't you?
Really simple.
So it's not too difficult.
There's lots of good resources out there,
Yeah.
and if you've played games in competitive systems, you might be familiar with Tiebreak and things like that. But they all work
Swiss
around
pairing
Swiss,
system.
and it's with narrative and two factions which are effectively, it doesn't really work. And we wanted something that would help us within that. So we've got a great tool that we can use. It'll be interesting when we hit the 5 rounds and lots more grudges, how much editing there is.
That's going to be there's an issue we can deal with by limiting grudges. You know, yes, lots of people would like to play specific matchups, but if we may just as an event organizer, the compromise is that okay, you can't play everybody you want to play.
Yeah.
But it means your event is better organised, smoother runs, and the overall quality of the event is better. It's a compromise. Now, like I said, at the last Tarssis, we did do every matchup. We accommodated every game. It took a fuckload of admin. I mean, we would spend the first half an hour, 40 minutes of the round, maybe even an hour, sat there with multiple pieces of paper, multiple people cross-referencing, checking off, double-checking. It just became... It was fine, and we did it, and it's great, but it became a very big, laborious task.
Yeah.
And that gave everybody total freedom. Now, fine, if that's... The community says, no, that's what we want. Cool, we'll do it, but you're going to have to compromise. So if the EOs, the TEOs, the EOs are busy doing that, they're not going to be around the tables to check that you're getting on with the mission and everything else is working. If we can have less time doing that kind of admin, we can do extra bullshit. We can be around. We can help more. We can help increase the narrative. We can be with players, and be around.
I don't think people are too worried anyway. Yeah. I think it worked well, and it's better than what we were doing before. But so that I think that was part of the catalyst for saving us loads of time. But the rounds seem to run to time. I know that in terms of timings,
the big drawback I took from the event was I hadn't allocated enough time for the rounds. I normally work on the theory of an hour, 1,000 points. So we did 2,000 points played per side, and I'd had 2.5 hours to give extra time for doubles. I think quite a lot of games ran to the 2.5 hours, which was just we didn't anticipate with it being doubles. We thought we'd done enough.
There's just more conversation. There's more people.
More people, more chatting, which is great.
And it was a very relaxed social event.
Everyone
was, I think most people who were drinking were staying that night. And there was definitely a kind of a culture of people like, I'm here for a jolly as well as a narrative event. So I think that built into it as well.
There's a lot of friends meeting
Some
up.
people just had an awful lot of troops to move, so they could never get out around
200 fucking militia to move up the hill. After the 2 hours of the first round. So how you getting on? Yeah, we're just coming to the end of turn 2.
We've just deployed.
What? But it was good fun, and like I said, it was very relaxed. But the big disappointment for me on the day was we had half an hour for lunch. 6 to 8 armies to judge in that paint time. It was very rushed at lunch to get things done.
I was running around,
and that was a disappointment because the standard of hobby was fantastic. The painting, the hobbying, the modelling, the display board, the fluff, the presentation. I mean, absolutely insane. I mean, I'm actually compiling an anthology with all the fluff that was produced by the guys. I mean, did Ross write like a fucking 7-page novella?
It was
it's fantastic.
A couple of thousand words,
and it's only been displayed really within the group and within the event. So I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to publish it as a book, as a PDF for everyone to get, because there's some fantastic work in there, and not having enough time to enjoy that because people are like trying to rush their lunch and get round. I would have liked to have, that for me was the biggest disappointment for the day. The biggest thing that went wrong.
Well, it's something we're doing next year. We won't announce the full next rules pack, but we're actually taking the fluff writing out of the Hobby Award. Because people don't get time to read that during lunch. Hobby Award's still going to be there, and it's going to be a separate award just for fluff writing.
And it'll be judged
within the players group before the event, and then announced at the end.
So people have the time to sit down and read them, because I mean, I'm rereading a lot of them again now as I'm putting them together, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I've said I'm gonna email it to Forgeworld and community as well, because this is a prime example of the community.
I was gobs. That's probably the thing that's I expected nicely painted armies, but the effort that people went into with that fluff, and not just the writing of it, the presentation of it. So, some people went for the black book style. A lot of people went for the
black
library novel style as well.
Created their own covers and
artwork and font, and it was really, really amazing. And there was a couple of those early doors, weren't there?
Yeah.
And
set the standard, and people
went. It was like, oh, okay.
Well, I think people took it 2 ways.
It snowballed, but in a good way.
People went, oh, okay. I've got to raise my bar. And actually,
was it Pete Dunn and
Pete and Ben
that
from
did theirs?
30K Frontier, and they dropped them in, and everybody went, shit, better up our game then, hadn't we? And it was great. Everyone took the challenge and went, yeah, cool, all right. It got people excited for it as well, and they were like, okay, cool, I'm going to go for it.
Really positive. Really surprised.
Yeah, and it really drove it on, and it's fantastic. So we're going to get those out in public.
Well, it's grown, isn't it? A bit like the Saga of Legend thing over the time, when people stand up and talk about their big events. That fluff thing, I think the first time we did it,
we got a couple of entries.
A couple of people wrote the stuff down. Most people didn't. Yeah. And now it's grown into something that's evolved into something else. Yeah. And I think I've actually got be really big now.
Johnny's grotty, stained and burnt entry in my cabinet.
Well, Johnny did his own audiobook version from the yard of the Two Pigs at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, from the yard of the Two Pigs, and then wandering around Cheltenham at 3 in the morning with a kebab and a pizza.
That's a video that not many people have seen.
Yeah, that's on private message. Johnny was on his own in the Two Pigs, very drunk, talking at the wall about demons and custodes in a nightclub full of people that weren't at the event.
No, they were all getting on with their thing, and he was on his own talking into his phone, recording a video.
A wonderful time. Johnny had the best time.
I think he might have been a bit sick as well, didn't he? Potentially.
He had a little sickie on the way home, I think. Yeah, overall, I was really pleased with how the event went. It was... While it may have not been the most hardcore narrative event because of the size, we couldn't engage everybody. The overall feel was super relaxed, super fun.
Yeah.
It really felt like a massive community, It really felt like everybody there was there because they loved Heresy, and this is brilliant. They love what it stands for, and they love what it does. And whether that's just from the end of, I just want to play 5 good games with 5 good dudes, I can play, and that's good. Or I love writing fluff, so I've written my 7-page novella, and I've come and had a relaxed day of gaming to enjoy that as well. Everybody got to engage on it in their own time. I think the issues, there are things we're improving on. There are things we're going to cut, which are things we've tried and haven't worked. We're increasing and tweaking stuff that did work well. We're looking at organisation and structure to really improve. We want to make it, the next one great.
Having layers so that they work for different kinds of people, because there were people that didn't want. So one of the things was Warlord and progression thing, that some people loved it, some people didn't like it. Well, I think people thought it was compulsory.
Yeah,
and it wasn't meant to be, but we didn't really say that enough. So
it's one of those things. We're saying like. Making sure there's something for everybody in it. The Warlord, I don't think anybody disliked it. I think a lot of people there were people who just thought, I'm not really that bothered by it.
Yeah.
One of the things we got to tweak is looking at ways of rewards for non-combat characters. So I think a lot of the militia and solar players were like, well, a lot of the XP is for killing stuff. I'm never going to kill any stuff.
And I stand with them on that.
Yeah,
I had the same
I
thing
totally agree.
Ruination with my solar Lord Marshal. He wasn't going to win any.
Yeah. If I've got my Praetor with a Blade of Perdition and a jetpack and an Iron Halo, I'm probably going to rack up the XP point.
Yeah.
If I've got a Solar Orcs commander who's basically designed to sit in the back and give a leadership buff, it'd be simple. 2 XP for every leadership test passed when your Warlord's leadership is used instead of yours.
Yeah.
We look at the other traits and give some XP for buffs. So that you might then end up after 2 or 3 games going like, fuck, he's toughness 4 and he's got 3 attacks. Yeah, fuck it, I'm going to run him in that combat and have a go now because he's a bit of a hero now.
Yeah.
And look at things like that. So we're going to tweak those systems to just try and make the gaming, all the features accessible for everybody. We want to make sure we're rewarding the people who enjoy gaming, rewarding the people that enjoy hobbying, reward the people who enjoy painting, who enjoy fluff.
The next set of awards, very similar to this time, but they would have been adjusted to do that even more.
To try and make sure there's an award for everything,
And I think the other thing is we've already touched on it a little bit, is the narrative, is that there was lots of narrative with Tarssis, but a lot of that was background pre-narrative, which is in the rules pack, and put out on a bit of a teaser video, and then we put stuff in at the beginning of the event, and then in between the rounds there were
less
short
bass
things
on your voice.
Yeah, and that's hard. We were outside in a yard.
We got a
in
loud
winter
PA speaker
with a PA speaker trying to play the audio. It's just the layout of the place. We're not going to get around that too well, to be honest with you. But I think some people loved it. And that was enough narrative. Some people would have liked even more, and we're just going to try and layer that into the scenarios a little bit.
We have to be realistic with what we can deliver now. We
struggle because of the 68 people. It's very difficult.
Engaging, making every player feel like their army was specially included.
Yeah, we can't.
With 68 armies is very difficult.
Unfortunately, that's what your fluff is for. You just sort of think about how you fit in with the narrative, rather that we can't. We'd love to write.
We'd love to write for you, but I can't. I
don't think anyone will want us to do that. But I think someone wanted to take the character system even further, didn't they, and build their individual character into the narrative. It's an amazing idea, but we couldn't have taken 68 individual characters and written them into the fluff in any way. It's just ridiculous amount of work that would have been messy anyway.
And would have led to poor quality because we'd be rushing to get it done. But I think it was good. Loads of cool feedback. I think general impression is people enjoyed it. I think we're going to push on. So before we go into just some awards and some thanks, is there anything else you wanted to chuck in, Stu?
No, I think we covered the main points.
So we had our 4 awards. This year we did add in highly commended places as well. So we had our usual Best Sporting, which confirmed his reputation as the nicest man in Heresy. Mr. Callum from the Unremembered Heresy walked away with, and Tabletop Banter walked away with our Best Sporting Player. Again, it was one of those awards where I think everybody got a vote. It was fantastic.
I think
it's great
so. I was inputting it all on the spreadsheet at the end of the day, and I think pretty much everyone got at least one vote.
Everybody got at least one vote, which is fantastic because that's the way it should be. Everybody should have been in games with everybody. We had our 2 runners-up, which Mr. Spencer Moulds took from the Phosphex Party. And I have fucking no idea how he managed it, but that bastard Jamie Foxx walked away with one as well. It goes to show if you play with Tonka, you're always going to look better. No, I love them both. So Jamie Foxx took the other highly commended place for sports. We had our Hobby Hero Award, which is voted for by the players. So this is everybody voting on their favourite army, and that was taken by Mr. Ollie Muse and his lovely Imperial Fists, who were up there actually in the Painting Paragon prize as well, up there for selection.
They were discussed definitely, and I've seen some of his current World Eaters. His work,
and they're going to be a real contender for the next time. And then our highly commended places went to Harry from Callum's partner in crime, isn't he?
For events, I think he does some stuff on Tabletop Banter as well.
And Mr. Rob Medwell. So you've probably seen him on Facebook as Rob Medders Paints. Rob Medders Paints on Facebook. So they took the highly commended places. We then had our infamous Saga of Legend Award. I think there was some dodgy block voting going on with Winless taking the award.
Can Peterborough cheer the loudest?
Yeah, can Peterborough scream the loudest? So I won. So Winless won for the Strump story.
Yeah.
So I have now been renamed Tallard Strump and have a red hat to take to events with me, which is great. We had Matt Burney with his Castellax blowing heads off custodes. And we had Dunk Cormac. Dunk Cormac's World Eater, who just ate everybody, just fucking annihilated everybody. So we had some. I've got some videos of those chip put-ups, so I'll try and post those at some point.
Yeah,
I'll post them. Post them up. I've got them. I just keep forgetting to post them. Then we went on to the Painting Paragon Prize, which was this year awarded by me and Stu and Liam from Phoenix Commissions and recent Golden Demon winning Sai.
Yeah. Four judges, and we came to pretty much the same.
Our top five,
definitely, and then top threes. I think by the time we sort of discussed it, they were very, very close. I think only one person might have swapped the top and their second.
It was first and second
swap.
It was
really, really close. So.
It was super close. It came down to me having to sort of put arbitrary numbers next to them and sort of award points to make us realise that actually there was pretty much nothing between all of them. So. Dan Wheeler's Thousand Suns, Mr. 1K Sun, walked away with the Painting Paragon prize. He loves his glass trophy. He's so pleased with that. We played up at Peterborough, and there was a bit of friendly joshing about me and his armies going up, and he went, well, he said to Winless, went, well, you ain't got a glass trophy, so I don't want to fucking win it. So you got one of our glass trophies. And then in our highly commended place was Jonas Harriet. Sorry, Jonas. Jonas with his Death Guard, and Rob's Blood Angels as well. Rob Medwell's Blood Angels. Yep. They were lovely. So there was some thoroughly deserved, and none of those awards were romped away with by one person.
No.
They were very much all very tightly fought. We did give away 2 special thanks prizes.
Yeah.
Where we gave one to Tom for the spreadsheet that we've mentioned earlier, and we also gave one to Mike French, who, while he unfortunately couldn't make the event, his White Scars army was stunning.
Absolutely stunning.
And it wasn't just his army, it was his engagement with the event prior. He'd been getting
so his army still came. It came with Zach, didn't they? Zach played
his army. But it was his engagement with the group and his enthusiasm for the event and the effort he put in, and we just felt it would be...
But he was gutted, wasn't he, that he couldn't make it? He was called,
called
overseas to jump out of a plane.
I don't know how
it was Florida, and it was quite warm.
And he was posting pictures of him sat there drinking beers in the sunshine, and so I've got limited sympathy for him. But yeah, it felt wrong for his army not for him not his army, for him not to pick up something, because he really had engaged with the spirit of the event and gone and above.
And those awards, and we'll probably do them again, they are purely down to us choosing.
Me and Stu choosing.
So it's not about just conduct on the day. It could be someone, but we choose the criteria. It's
I think I put on the award. Awards. Yeah, it's like I think I put for services to the Horus Heresy.
Yeah. So you don't have to write a spreadsheet to get an award, or
it's just
or jump out of planes. If you can write a spreadsheet while jumping out of a plane,
you might get an award. If you can do it while getting a better nickname for me as well, I'll be alright with that.
Foghorn Leg.
Foghorn Leg. Yeah, I mean either Foghorn Leg or Strump now.
Oh, they're both pretty fitting.
They both work. So just before we wrap up with this, then there are a couple of thanks I'd like to make.
Because you forgot at the end of the presentations at the event.
Because I was tired and angry, and I'd had enough of nerds, and I wanted my burger. I'd like to thank James Dawson, who's one of our locals.
He wasn't there at that point anyway.
He wasn't there at that point. He came down in the morning and helped us out. And Chris Gibson, Mr. Unbroken Chain. Unbroken Chain? Yeah, Unbroken Chain. On Instagram. Both of them crewed. Chris stepped in at last minute to help us.
And was awesome all day.
Awesome all day. It's a bit of a thankless job, because me and you kind of have to get on with the stuff we need to get on with, and we need somebody who can just wander around and be about and sort of self-direct, and both of them...
It reminded me of my retail management days when I got to sit in the office and send someone out to do the work.
Yeah.
It did feel like that at times. I kind of sat down at the computer and I said to Chris, could you just make sure that no one bothers me for a few minutes?
Yeah, but that's what people want as well. Just somebody, are you getting on? How's the mission? All that kind of stuff. And it's invaluable, because if we were having to do that as well, we couldn't be doing all the other stuff we need to do to keep the event running. So
no, and we're going to keep having people.
We'll have our crew
employing with a t-shirt,
and it is massively thanks. Incom Gaming, so Chip for putting up with my shit in the run-up to events, because I hassle the crap out of him. When I get closer and closer, when I get frenetic, and I'm like, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? And he's like, it's coming tomorrow. Yeah, but where is it now? It's coming tomorrow. Where's it now? So he lets us get away with kindness. There was a comment made in a chat somewhere about taking Tarssis north to Element or something. I was like, Element wouldn't give us 5 minutes with the crap I get away with at Incom.
No,
it's the joy of being able to hold. We have complete control of the venue, and we could take Tarssis to a bigger venue and have a much bigger event, and I can work around all the logistical problems of that, but we'd lose the feel.
You'd lose that,
and the feel comes from the fact that it's our venue. We're not in a. I love going to hotels and other venues like that and stuff, but it was Escalation. And we were playing in the Jury's Inn in Southampton, and you were in the sort of 3 conference rooms playing with nerds all day. And we came out, and we were all sweaty and in our nerd t-shirts and stuff. And it was Saturday night in the centre of Southampton, and suddenly you got stag and hen do's and football players over, and you were suddenly very aware that you were nerds, and you've been playing toy soldiers all day, and it was like, oh. So it's nice to have the whole venue to us, which Company of Legends do with the Scouts.
I was just going to say, I've been chatting with Michael on Messenger this week about the same thing, because they have similar limitations, don't they? They got this oversubscribed event which loads of people want to go to, but maximum amount of spaces in their Scout hut, and it's that kind of choice of, we could move elsewhere, but you'd lose that kind of essence of
again, especially with Company of Legends. One of the thing is, it's Warhammer Camp. It's camping in the venue, being able to go down there in your pajamas, and you're in. I'm trying not to use the word safe space, but you know what I mean. You're in an environment where you can engage with your. It
depends
hobby.
who you're bunking in a room with, doesn't it?
You're dropped out. Who's bunking in with me? Oh, Sam. Me and Sam. I'm going to cuddle him so hard. I'm going to cuddle him so hard. And nobody's going to want to share a room with me. I'll be lucky if I'm not asleep on the stage at the end of the day. But yeah, it's nice to have the control, the total control. I mean, even Greetings from the Warp, they have they're in the school, but they are there at the weekend, and it's there. You've got the control of it. And it's not to say not doing that is bad, but Incom gets away with murder. Being able to chip runs tabs for everybody all day. So you don't have to fanny around at the bar all day. You can run tabs on the hobby, as Johnny found out. You just buy stuff off the shelf. Having the shop there as well. To do all that stuff. So with that, then we had Dale helping in the shop, which frees Chip up to be able to help me with the event and be around. We got Nibs running around doing table service, even if he doesn't believe that Ben Taylor's name is Bent, bend over. That's a long story for another day, but
one best left.
But no, Nibs running around. He was fantastic all day. We managed to arrange table service, which when you've got 68 players, being able to bring them drinks so they're not wandering off during mid-game and then the game's delayed because you're waiting for someone to come over from bar. You ran around all day, put up with me being barky. I get my construction project manager's head on a bit when I run the events, because I'm used to being on building sites and shouting at people to get shit done. So I get a bit. That's, to me, it's the same sort of thing. I've got to get this done. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to be rude, but I'm not going to worry about upsetting your feelings if I need something done. Because I need it done. Because I've got 68 people there who paid good money to be there. I want the event to work well. It comes from that point of view. So, there are a lot of thanks to say for those guys. The crew that put up with me being barky, Incom for putting up with the fucking carnage that is Tarssis, and you shoot, because you make this thing work, because I come up with all the ideas and you make them actually fucking work, because I go, I want to do this, and you go, that's not going to work. And I go, yeah, all right, I'll do this. We'll do this and this will be better. So, no, I think
it
generally
works out all right. No, it's good, and it was a good improvement. Yeah. And I think the only things that we still feel like we want to do is mainly to do with the size and the change in the event from what it was originally planned as. So I'm very happy. And like I said, it felt like it was the easiest to run on the day out of all of the ones we've done. Yeah. That number of people, it could have been and should have been maybe the hardest. So
maybe it didn't feel massively easier, but I think if it had been 40 players, it would have felt massively easier. Yeah. The reason it didn't go down that much is because of the added bonuses of with 68 people to deal with.
We didn't have a lot to do, did we?
No, rounds? We had frenetic times, and we had the sort of
during round time. So between rounds, we had loads to do. But
15 minutes towards the end of the round, through to the 15 minutes of the start into the next round. We were really busy with
trying to enter all the sports scores in 15 minutes to try and ready for the presentation at the end. That was quite busy.
But there were frenetic bits. Whereas actually at some points during the rounds, we were sort of stood there like having a beer and having a chat, and it was like, well, we've got an hour before we need to do anything, which was great. I don't mind being really busy. I enjoy being busy and doing them. I like the frenetic nature of getting it done and doing it well. I just know I've got to have the right people around me that aren't going to get upset when I get a bit frenetic about stuff. So,
and to the person who handed in their sports score after round one,
that was very ambitious, considering you had to vote for 2 players.
They voted. It's good. They voted for one person they played, not their partner, and someone else who they hadn't played yet. Yeah.
Which is quite impressive. So, I mean, fair enough. If you want to vote, you want to vote. There's no rule saying you can't do that.
I feel especially sorry for the partner of the person they played, who must have done something really bad to piss him off.
To get less of a vote than the person they'd actually played.
But, good event, good fun. Looking forward to the next one now. As we kind of almost ironed out all of the things we had questions over for the pack.
It'll probably
for the next one?
yeah, and again we'll probably do the next one and have another bunch of things that we need to tweak. I'm not expecting to run the perfect event. I'm looking to run a good event every time and then take on board and make them better every time. And the thing is as well, when we run an event one year and the meta shifts, a book comes out,
people's expectations change,
but we just want to keep up and ahead, and we're talking about plans for 2019 now. How do we look at what the events are in the country, and can we offer something different now? Not to say better. I did make the mention that this is the largest independent UK Horus Heresy event in the world. No, in the UK. In the UK. We had a discussion about maybe Adepticon places are bigger, but do they have as many people playing in the same event?
I don't know.
It's a good event, but
it being doubles was the cheat there, really, wasn't it?
But it's not as a we're the best. Look at us. It's as a we've done this. Let's see who can get better. Go on. But I want Greetings from the Warp. I want Company of Legends. I want them to drive on, because I look at their events and go, cool, I like that. I want to take that on and do that to my event.
You only have to beat 68 now because we can't physically.
We physically cannot.
We're not going to do this.
We're not going to do that again. I can't do that again. I'm not looking to. I'm not trying to big head and be the best in the world and look how fantastic. I just want to raise the bar. I want to raise the bar so the other events raise the bar to push me to raise my bar. Because I want, if the community is constantly making better and better events, it's just better for the community. We're getting better and better events. We've got more and more things to do. The standards are going up, and we're just showing off what this hobby can do and how much we can enjoy.
And there's so many events at the moment. There's a good variety of different styles and types and stuff. So,
and that's what we want. We don't want 25 events this year, which are all 2,500, 3 games, Smash Face, Primarch Death Stars. We want Centurion. There's a lot of Centurion events at the moment. Yeah. Great, cool.
Things
let's
will
do
go
that
in
this
fads
year.
and crazes.
A
lot of events are running no special characters this year, because that seems to be the trend.
And then next year we might say, well, actually, let's have our special characters, because people do like playing with special characters. Do we do X, Y, or Z to stop
Variety
special characters?
Is the spice of life.
Exactly. Right, and on that note, then let's fuck off to another break.
Lord Marshal Great, sir. Legion reinforcements now visible on the left flank.
About time. The wolves, I see.
No, sir. Ultramarines, sir.
But they're wearing grey, Proclamator Fennec.
Fox message said new recruits, sir. No time to paint armour.
At least the Raven Guard are in black armour.
Sorry, sir. That's more Ultramarines.
For Emperor's sake, fox them and find out why.
Also new armour, sir. Their eye lenses are red, and the bolt guns are silver. 3 colours minimum, sir.
What the? Get on the Vox now and tell them to contact Miniature Realm Studio.
Miniature Realm Studio, sir?
Yes, Fennec. Miniature Realm Studio offers a commission painting service, competitive rates, and a range of painting standards to suit most budgets and requirements.
Yes, sir. I suppose they do say that fully painted is for closers.
What does that even mean, Fennec?
I don't know, sir.
Miniature Realms Studio can be found on Facebook, on Twitter at Miniature Realms, on Instagram at Miniature Realms Studio, or just drop Stuart an email at miniaturerealmstudio@gmail.com.
Welcome back, my friends. It's time for the bullshit and bad hobby section. So, Stu, do you want to give us a recap on what the theory is for this?
Yeah, so it's Patrick's email. So we're going to be discussing how you approach your armies when it's unified over time. So what's your consistency? How do you manage to be consistent when you've been painting an army over maybe 2 years, 3 years longer? When your skills improved, so how does that affect the consistency? And then how do you feel about applying new techniques? So maybe you started an army a couple of years ago, you didn't have any weathering, you didn't do any weathering at all, and you've learned how to use powders or wheel washes and things like that. And then the second part is that how do you deal with the struggle between your increased personal expectations, I suppose, is you've got better, and maybe your peers have got better at painting. How do you then deal with that and then keeping it consistent? So it's quite a meaty topic, but I also don't think we'll go on about it too long.
I think personally for me, my 2 armies show this. So my Ultramarines, one of the criticisms I have of the army is when I put it on display, the stuff that I paint at the start is relatively simple. Relatively basic compared to the stuff at the end, things like my Typhon and my 2 Land Raiders and stuff that I did very late on. the level of quality and level of ambition is a lot more.
Yeah,
I've got a lot more ambitious with colours and how I block things off and what I do with stuff. So while you have some high-end units, it also makes the basic units look more basic.
Yeah, and that's just you getting better because it's all post MKA as well.
Yeah, it's all improvement.
Some people out there may have been approaching this issue by, I started with a rattle can and then I've done MKA and I want to do this and do that.
It's the curse of the painting course. We talk about it all the time. You go halfway through an army and suddenly you want to repaint everything you painted before because you've leapt on so much. But my Mechanicum, one of the targets of the Mechanicum was to produce a much more uniform force, a much better force that's uniformed across. But even that, I'm hitting troubles with. So I did the NMM course, and I was doing my Magos. Just like, could really go to town with NMM on all of this. I was like, no, because it will look weird in this force.
Yeah.
So I've gone back to true metallics to make those models make sense with it. So and it's a personal frustration that I'd like to implement those skills on it. But so it's having to then, like you said, your personal expectations. I'm saying now, I'm actually lowering my expectations to make a better force overall.
Yeah, I do that all the time, I suppose.
Well, you're painting to what you're paid to paint to, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I do my own things. So one of the issues I have, and I'll come back to the main part of the question in a moment, but one of the issues I have is if I painted everything to my best level,
it'd never get done.
I wouldn't ever finish anything. And I know that, and I'm not patient enough to make an army project be a 2-3 year project anymore. So maybe in some ways we're not encounter this problem quite as much.
Yeah.
Though I don't have my original Fists army, the one when we started this podcast, when I started playing Heresy properly.
But you painted that in 6 weeks.
I painted it in 6 weeks to get an army on the table and ended up with about 3.5k. And once I painted the solo, I knew I was never going to go back to it because I would have wanted to redo it. And this is how did I get around that problem? By selling it, because I knew I wouldn't be be happy with it when I went back to Fists. I knew I'd do it in a different way.
Yeah.
I suppose I can't be the answer though for everyone.
Well, no. Sell their army. We were having this discussion around 8th Ed time.
Yeah.
I had 4,500 points worth of 40k Ultramarines, and I was sort of like, they've been sat in a box, and we were chatting, and you said to me, even if you went back to play 40k, would you be happy playing with that army? And I went, no, it's not up to my painting standard.
Yeah.
So why are you holding on to it? So I sold that off. Now, it all depends. I think a lot of it depends on the scale of improvement. Like you said, if you're going to go and do an MKA course and you know your skills are going to jump big time, or say MKA, a painting
any
course,
of the above,
a CK Studios, Miles, whatever. You know you're going to make vast improvements. Look at what project you're doing that for. So maybe you say, look, I'm going to finish my army off to this standard because that's the standard I'm at. I know I'm going to do this painting course, so I'm going to start a new project, my next project off on that. So one of the things I did, I waited to start painting my Ultramarines till I did my MK course because I knew there was no point me starting it because I'd just go back and redo it. So I was like, okay, that's fine, I'll do that. If you're talking small improvements, just general development, you might just say, you know what, fine, I'll just have some better models because the range is going to be shorter. And then I might go back and rework. So I'm rebasing my Atropos, and I looked at it today and I was like, do you know what, the metallics are really basic on this. I'm going to go back and do a bit more work on the metallics on this just to get it a bit better up to the standard.
Metallics is something you can actually go back and add.
Well, I'm just going to dry brush some bright silver onto some edges to create some scratches and a bit of tone and a bit of flex in it.
You can go back in with oils and washes and things on metals.
Well, I've already oiled and washed it. It's the highlights that are missing.
Right.
I need to add some. It's mid-tone and shade.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking generally for
Sorry, we're getting distracted into.
So you can. Yeah, metals is something you can go back and adjust if your metals have improved. It's a lot easier than going back in and redoing the block colours of the blue or the red or something like that.
The main armour colour.
I think what it really boils down to is the individual and whether their OCD, if they have any, will allow them to have things that look different. I like consistency through my army, so I tend to paint them in big chunks, and we're looking at a big chunk of it now, and when I get down to sticking the grey layers on, I probably will do it across the board. And then when I add units to this, because I do tend to keep in this army, I'll probably add most of the units that are going to be grey within the next 12 months or so. I plan to expand the Fists army even more with standard yellow.
Yeah.
And build a more of a terror force as those books and things come out. But
And
the plan
these
is
will
that
become part of that
they will be
force.
part of an overall fist collection.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's another way around it as well, is that you can say, well, they're a different company, they're fighting in a different sector, so change something on their armor and say, well, they're under a different command. So that might help you explain why they look a bit different. Something else you could do if your painting's changed and you got a lot better, or you learn new techniques, even just rebasing can help add unification to an army. So you can say, right, these look a little bit more basic, but I'll rebase them. I'm going to weather them with the same powders now, and it just ties them all in a little bit. So that's something very simple you can do, but it really will boil down to how much you feel, can I deal with how different it is, or do I just want to set it on?
Go full retard and repaint the entire army every 6 months.
So Pete Uplander, he's in the process at the moment, and I don't know how much he's got rid of. I know he's thinking about selling off a lot of his wolves, and he's been repainting stuff. And I know he's repainting. I think he's repainting Russ. He changed him a little bit. He's working on new grey Slayer squads.
Tweaking
a lot of it
improving.
is because of the new kits, but he wanted a darker grey. Yeah. So he's going back now and coming up with a new theme, and we talked about it a lot, and he's saying, well, shall I sell it? I said, well, keep it for a while, replace the units, and then sell it on bit by bit. So I think eventually he'll end up replacing most of his army with a newer scheme. So
but it also depends what you're doing. So if your priority is gaming, you may look at a method where you replace units slowly because you want to keep a gameable force. If you're not so worried, maybe you play a couple of games a year and that's it. And actually not having a workable army for 6 months is not such an issue because you're not going to get gaming that time. You might go, well, I'll bin a load of units, sell a load of units off and repaint a bigger batch because I know that I've got the time to do it. So
it might be
personal preference and personal circumstances will help.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of money you've got as well as time. I mean, it's something you can do. Tanks tend to strip a lot better than infantry. You can generally get the paint off, so if you use the right thing. So you could say, well, I want to update it. I've got better, so I'm gonna buy some biostrip and strip the paint off my tanks. I'll redo my tanks, but my inventory's all Calth and Prospero plastics, so I will bit by bit paint units to replace them and then sell on the other bit. So you're not taking on the entire cost of replacing the lot.
And I guess we wandered away from it a little bit. What are you wanting to add? Like you said, if you're repainting the entire primary colour of the army, new units or stripping is your friend.
Yeah.
If I know with Tom's Dark Angels, as over the events, so when he came and brought his Dark Angels force to the first event he came to, he asked for feedback on it. One of the things we said was weathering. Yeah. So he's gone back and weathered all that army now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
tied it all together.
And then he's taken bits and bits. So you can go. Weathering is something you can definitely go back and add to and add more to and go and if you did no weathering at the start, you go back and add some sponge chipping. And you're happy with that. Then go and add some powders and some basing, and you can work on those kind of things. So there are aspects that you might say, well, actually, I'm halfway through the army and I've tried sponge chipping out on this unit and I really like it. I'll go back and sponge chip the lot. So I know Dave Gordon's been going back and adding stuff to units he's been doing for his Ultramarines.
Yes, yeah.
And going working. So it's just because a unit's finished at that point, there are certain things you're not going to be able to go back to, but there are things you can do. So you start adding weathering and chipping and powders. Like you said, the primary army colour, the primary paint scheme may have evolved and changed, but actually the weathering is enough to tie it all in.
Ties it in the most, I think.
You can actually see Tom's Dark Angels on 30k channel.
You can.
Yeah, you can. We're playing Robbing Space Wolves.
Yes, I've not watched that one yet.
Yeah, it's very nice armies up for fights on that. So you can see how that, if you saw army pictures of that at the first Tarssis event Tom attended, you can see that the primary army colours, the major paint hasn't evolved far, but the weathering's all come on, and it's taken that force up with it as well, and it creates a uniform force.
And it's probably made his army quite striking and identifiable because it's a very kind of Marsy kind of dust that's gone up on the black boots and stuff, but it looks really cool. It's on the skirts of all the tanks, and it definitely ties it all in together. So, and I think we've probably covered his question really. It was never going to be the longest hobby topic, but a lot of it's going to be down to the individual and how much you can kind of cope with the change,
as well as what's improved and how much it's improved. If you, like I said, if your painting skills have leapt dramatically because you've done a big painting course over a weekend, you maybe not be able to go back and add that stuff. if you've picked up a couple of extra weathering techniques, you've learned to do more oil washing.
Yeah.
Go back and add some more oil washing on. You can go and do that. So you may have to look at what you've improved as well. But
there do seem to be different kinds of gamers. The people that will kind of collect a small army, then move on to a different force, and the people that will constantly add into a massive
idiots
collection.
like me who have a 7,000 foot army.
You've got a bit of both on the go. And you'll end up with two things. I think I always look at things in terms of project stages. And this fist, while I want to grow them further,
phase one of the fist.
This is phase one. But something I am doing, and it will help keep it consistent, is that I'm only trying to deliver the tabletop plus standard of that I deliver to one of my clients. I'm not trying.
You're
to
being
spend
realistic with the expectation of what you've got time to achieve as well.
I could do it, but I don't want it to be the only thing I do this year. I probably mentioned it on a couple of casts ago. I really want to get this army painted by the beginning of the summer, because aside from unreleased models, because for the rest of the year, I actually want to free up my own painting time from army painting. I want to spend more time practicing the display stuff, which I don't have time to do. So rather than spend ages doing non-metallic metals on my playing army, I'd rather
just do true metallics.
I'd rather do true metallic. It's just a flippant example, but to rather kind of make it good tabletop. Use the
well, this is one of the things we've discussed with the announcement of the new book. So I'm not particularly got an army project on after the Mechanica movie finishes.
The book comes out then.
So I'm going to look at taking this summer at least to fiddle around, finish that bloody Mastodon, do bits. But I've got. I might have bought a bolt action army last night, but that's a different story. We won't talk about that.
Don't tell Marlo; we'll get really excited.
Dale, mate, I really liked playing bolt action, Stu. It was really good fun. But it's fun, so I'm looking at but I mean the big appeal for bolt action was I bought a box and a book, and that's it, and it will never go
to that once and sold.
It will never go any.
Trying to ignore it, so that's not a good thing to tell me that you.
It will never go big. It will never go bigger than that for me because it's just a little side project. Well, I haven't got an army project on. I've got a couple of Golden Demon pieces I want to work on. That if they don't get done for Golden Demon, I'm not bothered. It's more of a practice of skills. I've got some busts I've bought that I want to paint and work on a bigger scale. I'm going to paint with Alfonso. Banshee did his this weekend. I'm going to paint with Mark Mascalan in May. Me and Carl are going on a paint of the road trip. It's going to be good fun. I'm going to go and paint that in that style. And so I'm looking forward to not having an army project to explore painting in different ideas.
Very similar to me. Free the desk, so I don't feel like I've always. It's almost like, as much as I like painting armies, it's almost like that. I've got that assignment from work assignment.
It's a different style,
study
isn't it?
Assignment, always kind of the back of your head. I just need to get through this. I want that kind of freedom to do.
I love the challenge of painting an army.
Yeah,
I like. I'm super pleased with my Mechanicum and the way it looks, and it's a real consistent force. Like it's consistent across. It's got. I've built objective markers for it. It's got it. Everything seemed. Like I said, I want to get the painting done this week because that gives me a week to work on the. I'm probably not going to get my display board done for Edge of Empire in a week, but I want to work on the presentation. So I want to produce a book with fluff and the army list and everything in it, ready for the event. So I can do that a bit more, and I'm looking forward to a summer of a very different style of painting. So I enjoy the challenge of painting an army because it's got to get this done, got to get through the volume. And now I'm sort of sat there like, I could finish the Mastodon. Probably got 8 to 10 hours of work to do on the Mastodon because it's the painting of a tank now. Really, it's big, but it's still the same technique as painting a Rhino. And the biggest problem is getting the fucking cunting doors to close properly. I might kill somebody. That's what stopped the Mastodon at the moment. Is the front doors don't shut properly. I'm so fed up of.
Just put one of those dice in front of it.
Put a dice on it, I'll probably kill it. So I'm looking forward to a very summer of like paint this one unit, paint this bust, paint this sort of very different style to me because at the moment there isn't an army out there that I want to do because. I think I'll do demons next, but being that the demons list sounds like it's going to be very different to what we know. I don't want to go out and buy a load of blood crushers and stuff. I want to see what the army list's like, so I will wait and see, and I'm going to enjoy a summer of doing different things. And then hopefully when the demons drop, I'll have a bunch of new skills that I can apply to that as well.
Yeah, I'd really like to spend the next, definitely after summer, from the very latest, from September through to a weekender, maybe working on whatever I want to paint, but a couple of good
display
entries
pieces,
if I get a ticket to go. Whether I get anything done for Fest, I don't know. I've got the bits and something planned. It's finding that time to get it done now.
Yeah.
I'll probably still try and enter one thing because I've got a ticket I want to go. But my main goal will be after that to get my army projects out of the way, get my Warhound done, and then do what you're doing, really, just to fritter around.
Fritter around and push yourself.
I think I'm going to spend a couple of hours painting tonight, and I'm going to spend it all painting 1 inch of one leg or something like that, and not worry about thinking, I've got to get 20 dudes to go. But I think we've kind of gone round in circles a little bit.
Yeah,
there,
it kind of wandered off. So we'll wrap it up there, and we'll take another short break, and we shall be back shortly. We are back. We're going to do a little closeout wrap up. Again, if you want us to shout your events out, send a message in. If you not just events, if you want to shout anything out, dudes looking for dudes, event shout outs, anything else like that, send us it in. Again, we have our Facebook group. Use that as a community billboard. Post your events, post your shit going on there. I know Sam Brockenshaw's been posting about Miles's class at Firestorm in there.
You don't need to ask permission.
Just do it. As long as it's heresy-ish related, you know, it's something that's appropriate. If you start posting your mother and baby's coffee morning in there, unless you're teaching babies to play Heresy, not so worried. Charity events, whatever, let's share it in there. Just get it in there. But we wanted to shout out the Legion of Lies boys again. Go and check their Facebook page out. Go and find the details on their event. Now it's down at Wayland.
Yeah.
Go and support those guys. They're putting a lot of time and effort into it. I know they're trying really hard to produce a really good event. So, go and support them. They're trying to put something on the east side of the country, which I don't think is very well provisioned for events, is it?
There are things there. I don't know how big the Heresy scene is. We don't hear as much about it. But
so go and support it over there. It'd be really good to get down there. I know Joe, you bloody out in Norwich that way. Get your finger out your ass and drive down there. Take the Cambridge boys down there and go and support that event.
So the 24th, I believe. I've removed it from my calendar. I'm not going, but 24th of June, Sunday, and that's the Wayland Games in Essex.
Yeah, go and check that out. Then we got the Spaartanac Sedition. I was chatting a lot to Si. Si came out for dinner with us at Tarssis, and he's got some really interesting stuff going on.
Amount of narrative he's written for that.
He is working really hard on that event, and it's going to be wicked. And he's got a football. I did ask him. I said, "Si, you're at a football club?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "You're in the middle of it?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Can you camp on the field?" And he went, "I hadn't thought about that." So, if we can get camping for next year, I'm coming camping. Can you imagine how fun that? Spend all day getting peed up in the football club, playing toy soldiers, and go and get in your tent afterwards.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be wicked. It'd be really good fun. So
that's the 9th and 10th of June.
Yep.
It's a busy June. If you want to play Heresy in June, there's an event nearly every weekend for you.
Yeah. So go. I think there's a few tickets left for that in there.
I think so. Yeah.
So go and say that. It will be a good event.
Colston and Surrey. Find the event. The links in our show notes. It's been for a while.
And then the new one. You know about this one?
So there's two more to shout out. So Mark in Hull, Damnation of Antioch, not Dantioch. Though he's probably been.
It's Dantioch's auntie.
I don't know who damnated who, Pollux or Dantioch. Anyway, the Damnation of Antioch, 21st and the 22nd of April. Fully painted, multi-list narrative event with custom missions to be announced on the day. So there is a Facebook group for that one. He's posted it up on the Geno page. You can scroll back and find it.
Yeah, find it in the group as well.
So it's too short notice for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm horrifically busy.
I'm booked up now till August onwards. I'll be looking at weekends for events and stuff.
I'm about there as well. With
one day as maybe a cheeky Sunday one day or something along the line, but that's me booked up. But
I always say I'm booked up and end up with more events. So
yeah, your wife is different to mine with those kind of things.
My wife hates me, so she's quite happy that I'm gone.
And then the final one that I know about is the one I'm now doing. Yeah. Hopefully this is the one that sticks. So the 16th and 17th of June, the Siege of Volturus, and that's at Boards and Swords, I think.
Yeah, up in Derby.
In Derby. So that's
I'm going to go over and check that out.
And Harry some tabletop banter, Callum's and Unremembered Heresy, said Emperor's Path then. So that's
they're the most media heavy podcast going, because you've got Jody running his company.
There's a lot of interlocking media.
You've got 2 YouTube channels coming out of that podcast as well. They're a proper media. They're the YouTube generation, aren't they?
Damn young ones. So that's a 40-player event, £35 for 2 days. You do get, there's breakfast and lunch buffet both days.
Yeah, which is wicked.
Looks really good. So, and it's just outside the centre. I think it's not far from the cricket ground. So I think imagine that's easy to get to, good for parking and stuff as well. Yeah. So
I'm going to go over there and check it out. Because the wife's parents live up in Derby.
Cool.
So next time we're up that way, I'm going to try and sneak out and go over there and just have a look and see how it is. But it looks like a nice store, good website.
The event looks awesome, so I'm looking forward to it. It's $22.50 as well for day one.
Yeah, which is nice. Which is
different. It makes you think about your list, so you can't just roll out your normal list.
I use my 2.5 that I take everywhere. Yeah,
and then the second day is there's a big siege game, which you can take 3K lists, and there's some smaller Zone Mortalis games which affect what you do affects the big siege game. So right up my alley in terms of kind of very relaxed kind of narrative stuff. So,
and also an excuse for you to get your big toy out as well.
Yes, if I paint it, if I can find time to paint it. Because
paint
that. Do finish this army, which I've started, and Golden Demon for May. So it's kind of...
You don't need to earn money, just paint it.
April could be busy. But yeah, that's it though. There's loads of other events, and I know that we haven't shouted them all out, but the UK events, UK Horus Heresy events...
And the Global 30k calendar. There's so many events all around the world. I say it all the time, events are one of the best things about this hobby, and... If you're someone who doesn't enjoy large crowds and big events, then 68 raving nutters at Incom sounds like a bit too much. There are small events going on all around the place. There are big events, little events. There are one-day events, Saturday events, Sunday events, Centurion events, big Titan game events. There should be something out there for you. And if there isn't, run it, because running them is great fun as well. So, yeah, I think that does me. Anything else from you, Stu?
No, that's it.
No, fuck off, I've had enough now.
It's 3 minutes past midnight.
It's 3 minutes
got no heating on in the shed.
It's freezing my tits
off. Yeah, let's get out of here.
Catch you later, guys.